small businesses to the biggest industry, we're here to help. With remarkable products like our free First mobile app, we've got banking ideas that fuel big dreams. That's the First National Bank of Central Texas. Familiar faces making local decisions.
Member FDIC, equal housing lender.
Stepping into the boots of a U.S. Army officer can add confidence and leadership skills to your son or daughter's career path. See all the things they can achieve in our boots at GoArmy.com. U.S. Army Waco Recruiting Company, 254-598-8131 or 254-776-1543.
During the President's Day event, Allen Samuels has special pricing on a new 2021 Jeep Grand Cherokee Limited with values up to $3,250 or 0% for 72 months, plus $1,000 in combo cash. Or a 2021 Jeep Cherokee. The new Latitude Plus has up to $6,000 in total values or 0% interest for 72 months and $1,250 in combo cash. Allen Samuels award-winning customer service. The best place to find your next SUV. Located at 201 West Loop 340. Allen Samuels is your friend in the car business. See dealer for details. All offers have credit requirements.
With so many companies and policies out there, it gets so confusing shopping for insurance, and I never know if I'm getting the policy that's right for me. Luckily, I met the team at the Niche Group Insurance Agency. With the Niche Group, you can go to one company and get access to coverage options from many insurance carriers, and you get to speak to a real person about your specific coverage needs. With the Niche Group, I know I'm getting the right coverage at the right price. If you need insurance, talk to the experts at the Niche Group at 1-800-258-8302.
What you do in privacy is your own business. What you do in public with your truck, well, that's our business at Pickup Outfitters. In your garage, it's okay for your truck to parade around in the nude with no accessories. Hey, this is still America. But when you bring your truck out in public, it's just common decency to put an outfit on your truck. And that's where we come in at Pickup Outfitters. Put a cover on that bed. Cover your rear end with a bumper and a hitch, for goodness sakes. There are women and children on the roads. And guys, don't leave your tools exposed. Put them in a toolbox. Be proud of your truck and stand tall with a lift kit. Or improve your truck's posture with a leveling kit. Add some class to your pickup with new wheels and tires. Or dress up for a date with your new RV or boat with a fifth wheel or a receiver hitch. At Pickup Outfitters, we're dedicating to making the roads decent for all Central Texans. So when taking your truck out in public, remember your manners and accessorize it properly with an outfit from Pickup Outfitters. 220 Lake Air Drive in Waco.
If you or a loved one or friend has been arrested and you can't afford bail, trust Terry and Chase Chapman at Chapman's Bail Bonds, covering Waco and McLennan County for over 25 years. Chapman's can bail you out anywhere with experienced, knowledgeable local agents who are committed to serving you professionally, respectfully, and with the highest integrity. Chapman's understands your privacy is important. Your freedom can be secured fast when you use Chapman's Bail Bonds. Open 24 hours a day. Payment arrangements available. Call Chapman's Bail Bonds. When you need help, 254-754-1603. When you ring, we'll spring.
Welcome back to SicEm365 Radio.
SicEm365 Radio is presented by IdealMRI.com. High-quality MRIs for $497 or less. IdealMRI.com. Your health is important, so is your budget.
Hey, we're back, guys.
We're here.
All right, back on SicEm365 Radio. Paul, Catalina, Craig Smoak, and David Smoak. Indianapolis, Waco throughout. And Paul, we have Clark?
Not yet. That's why I wasn't back on video yet, because I was still trying to talk to him.
Okay, we'll have Clark Kellogg from CBS Sports here in momentarily. One note or two, a couple of comments today from Chris Beard in his introductory press conference in Texas. We fear no one, but listen to this. We don't think we're better than anybody. We're going to have that University of Texas swagger and confidence, but we're going to have that with humbleness to win at the highest level as well. Chris Del Conte called Chris Beard the greatest basketball coach in America. America. That was the introduction today in Austin of former Texas Tech head coach and former UT assistant player Chris Beard, as he was introduced in Austin today to the University of Texas faithful as well.
We'll see. I don't agree he's the greatest basketball coach in America. Not even close. I think he's one of the better coaches. But maybe he goes and proves that he's the best basketball coach in America. Remains to be seen, though, and that's a bit early to call him that. But that's, the drumming up excitement that you'd expect from the athletic director. It is a big hire for UT. It's a great hire. I don't think they could have really done any better. So they did a good job. I mean, I still I just hate the interconference thing. I do. I hate that. I don't think it's a great look, but I understand he's an alum and there's a little bit of a difference there than, say, if it was somebody who wasn't attached to UT and jumped from Tech to Texas, but still I don't like it. But it'll be interesting to see what Texas Tech does. It's funny. They were one of the things that was brought up was that Beard, I guess, was wanting to reduce capacity for their arena, which is kind of weird because you always hear about their great turnout and all of that. But that's why, Mac Rhodes with that new basketball arena is talking about limiting the capacity, and you're seeing that more and more around the country. But UT's getting that new arena as well. So, I mean, he's got it made there. I'm curious just to see how his style changes, if at all, or how UT's, mindset changes at all, because that's what he's got to work on, and that's good. That's a good comment that he made, because that entitlement is what has cursed them more often than not. So, all right, we'll see what happens.
One of the notes, Bobby, Brady Manick of Oklahoma has entered that transfer portal that is massive and filled up daily by many. We're now joined by, to me, March Madness, Clark Kellogg, and CBS Sports studio analyst, former player on SicEm365 Radio with Paul, Catalina, Craig, and David Smoak. Clark, first of all, thank you very much. It's great to have you on. It couldn't have been a better time on the eve of the Final Four. You have been very positive, as so many have, about Baylor and who they are and what they've done. What are your thoughts now that they are on the edge and the eve of possibly playing for a national championship?
Well, great to be with you guys. This is obviously a culmination to a heck of a tournament. Really looking forward to the games tomorrow. But Baylor, I hope they can find the offensive rhythm and flow they showed early and mid-season. They've not quite gotten there yet after that extensive pause. Fits and starts, they've shown it to us, but I hope they find the offense that was so exhilarating and so lethal during the early part of the season. Defensively, they've been terrific, turning people over and coming up with steals and doing enough to get to this point. But I hope that offensive element that's been a little missing returns. It'll be hard, though, against Houston, because they don't typically let teams get going on the offensive end.
Clark, would it be fool's gold for people to look at Houston's schedule and let them into a false sense of security? Because they haven't obviously played a team like Baylor all year, but I mean, we're in the Final Four, Clark.
No, they're good. They're really good. I actually had a chance to do a Houston Temple game at Temple, actually in the arena. And so I got to see them in person, and they are very impressive. I mean, they get after you. They're strong. They're tenacious. They share the ball. They have not been that good offensively of late either in terms of efficiency, but they get so many extra shots that they can overcome the lack of high field goal percentage shooting. And then they've made threes in a timely fashion, particularly Quentin Grimes. He's made more threes than anybody in the tournament to date. I think he's made 17, and he's shooting close to 50% from three in his last several ball games. So you rebound it well, you defend at a high level, and you make timely threes. That can sometimes overcome not converting at a high rate.
Do you feel like Baylor is playing the same level of basketball they were playing before all of the COVID shutdown?
I do not. Not offensively. They are not quite as sharp. The shooting numbers indicate that. I think Mitchell and Butler coming into the tournament were aggregating at 44% three-point make. They have made 10 of 36 in the tournament, which is somewhere south of 30%. And the team's three-point shooting has been down a touch. I don't know if they've converted on the offensive glass as well as they did earlier. What they have done at a platinum level is defense. And so if the offense can start to get back to where it was, I think they'll need it to against Houston. They'll have to find ways to knock down those open threes they typically get and then be able to rebound with the Cougars, particularly on the defensive glass in this game tomorrow.
Clark, I don't exactly remember the quote, but I believe you said one time, it's not who Baylor is playing, but how Baylor wants to play. Is that kind of how you still feel?
I do. I really do. I mean, this team has been really right a step below Gonzaga in my mind all season. Houston is very good at what they do. I don't know if the game is in the 60s. I think Baylor could still win it, but I think it'll be hard for Houston if Baylor is playing as well as I think they can play offensively to keep the Bears in the 60s. I'm hopeful it's a game that's played in the 70s, so we'll see. But I love Baylor's team. I like that quartet of guards. Flagler and Meyer off the bench are outstanding. I don't know of any bench production in the tournament that's anywhere near what those two guys provide. And Chacho as well. So, yeah, I like this team. I love the guards, and particularly in this matchup. Houston has Dejan Giroux, who's a terrific defender. And I'm anxious to see where Sampson will match him up. And then Jared Butler, who's as smooth and as good as they come offensively, just has not been at his best. And that can change in a heartbeat. So, yeah, I'm eagerly looking forward to both matchups, quite honestly.
Curious on your thoughts specifically on Matthew Meyer, who was a guy when he came here who, Clark, I don't know if you got to see some of his early work at Baylor, but if he did not catch the ball and shoot it, it looked like you killed his puppy. Like his body language, his face was terrible. If he could not catch it and shoot it, it was just awful. And now he is this like burst of energy off the bench and a real matchup problem for everybody.
The self-development is a wonderfully personal journey. And sometimes people show up with a little more polish and skill. Other times they show up with less. But one of the great things about being in a terrific program with outstanding coaches and really good players as teammates is that if you put the work in, you will get better. And that's what's happened. And you see it across the country. I mean, everybody's rate of development is different. And it's always a joy to me to see guys max out their potential, to grow and get better and stay the course and embrace the process and not get distracted by the outside noise. Individual development is a wonderful thing to see, and that's what's happened with Matthew Meyer. I mean, this kid is terrific. He's got a future. I think an NBA future with his athleticism, his shooting range, his activity, his ability to score. I mean, there are a lot of elements that I think transfer to the next level if he continues to grow, get stronger, and get better. But I've been very impressed by his progress.
Speaking of development, Clark, what kind of development or what has stood out to you from the way Scott Drew has evolved over the years?
Man, he's just such a really positive, high-energy guy and a really good teacher and developer. Man, it's one of the remarkable jobs in coaching in the last 30, 40 years. When you think about it, some people talk about it being a rebuilding job. I don't know what kind of foundation was there when he got there. I mean, it was basically starting from the ground, and he's turned it into a consistently high-level program, and he's done it with a style. They defend. It was a zone defense for his first few years, and now they've become a very good, aggressive man-to-man team because of personnel. Just a really fantastic job of developing and growing as a coach, and then developing and building a winning championship caliber program. And that's a lot harder than people realize. Winning is very hard at the highest level. It's hard, not easy. And when you do it from where he started, that speaks volumes to his coaching acumen and his persistence and perseverance, and the guys that he's had as part of his staff. I mean, no coach does it alone. No team does it with just one or two players. So kudos across the board. I mean, he's one of my favorite guys. That family is one of the favorite families in college basketball that I've had a chance to interact with and meet. Homer and his family. I mean, just terrific. So I'm happy for Scott. Thrilled.
We do have Homer coming up, in fact, today at 5 o'clock about Scott being in the Final Four. Clark, where did you have you always been such a great dancer? That studio scene with you and Wally and Seth, and of course, I thought Gumbel's reaction was priceless. My
goodness, that was so much fun, man. We actually spontaneously agreed to do that. Our producer suggested it, Tim Weinkoff, and then Seth was on board right away that morning. I was ready to go. And then Wally only had a half foot in initially, but then once he knew Seth and I were going to do it, those team emojis are the hit of the tournament outside of the basketball. I mean, I love watching those guys every time we go to commercial or come back and they're doing their thing. So it was great fun, and it's gotten a little bit of a life of its own, but I don't ever have a problem laughing at myself with others. So it's got fine in that regard.
You got to get Gumbel up there dancing. I mean, I know that he's a 35, 40-year broadcaster, but got to loosen up sometimes.
There's just some things that Greg won't do, but I do like the fact that we got the furrowed brow look from him. That's always one of my goals on a daily basis. If I can get 2 or 3 furrowed brows from my longtime partner and friend, based on a word I've used, or some alliteration I've come up with, or something as crazy as dancing with the virtual team emojis, then I'm satisfied. I am satisfied.
Hey, Clark, off topic from the Final Four, but big news in college basketball this week. I know you were high on Texas going to the tournament and then the great upset by ACU, but what are your thoughts on Shaka Bolton from Marquette, and then obviously the big hire by Texas and bringing in Chris Beard within the Big 12 Conference?
I think on the surface, those could really be win-wins. It's unfortunate that Shaka didn't have more success in the tournament. He just couldn't find a break, and that's part of the agony of March Madness. It's one thing to get there, but to advance, it's sometimes a razor-thin edge, and he had some tough breaks, particularly this season was a hard one to swallow, and then a couple of other losses in the tournament. But I think he lands in a really good spot. He's from Wisconsin. Marquette is a really good job and a good conference. I think he'll do great. Chris Beard, obviously, his coaching resume speaks for itself. He's been terrific everywhere he's been as a coach, and I don't see any reason that won't be the case at his alma mater. So I think it potentially is a win-win for both programs and both coaches. I think they'll do well in their new spots.
Clark, if you don't mind, as you enter this Final Four weekend, and I know you love basketball, there's a lot of things you have passion for. We weren't here last year. We weren't even there's no tournament last year. Does that make this weekend, no matter who wins it, even more exciting and exhilarating?
I don't think there's any question about it, guys. When you lose something that you cherish and value and enjoy, whatever it happens to be, I mean, wherever it is on the landscape of priorities and values, when you lose something that you're immersed in that gives you joy and excitement and fun, and it's gone, you miss it, you mourn it, and clearly we all did. I know everybody's not a college basketball fan or a sports fan, but for those of us who are, it was a great, great loss. And to have it back even in a different type of environment, the games have been what tournament games always are: exciting, unpredictable, great energy and competition and drama, human interest stories on the periphery and throughout. The tournament always delivers, and to have it back after a year of missing it certainly is much sweeter for all of us who are a part of it.
Clark, I'd be a little remiss if I didn't bring up that we all have a mutual friend in King McClure, who I know
sure.
You helped out at the beginning. In fact, I helped him produce a podcast that you were on one day. And, we have him on pretty much every week on our show. And really, I mean, as a young rookie broadcaster, he's quite good already.
He's knocking it out of the park, and I couldn't be happier for him. He's such a high-quality guy. He's got a tremendous personality, great work ethic, brings a fresh, young perspective to the microphone, and thrilled for him. I actually spent some time with him and Monica on a podcast yesterday and just had a great time. And we stay in touch. We text fairly often, but it's part of all of our responsibility to pay it forward. So when King made it clear that he was interested in going this direction. I, along with many others, have been more than happy to step in to try to help him in his journey. So great to see him doing as well as he is.
Clark, thank you very much. When I put your name up on our guest list in our forum section, awesome, the best in the business. Final four games aren't the same without him. And then Clark Kellogg is the voice of March Madness. That's big time. And we appreciate your time.
My pleasure, guys. I certainly appreciate those kind words. And I'm glad to have one of the voices that are part of March Madness, and very much looking forward to a great culmination to this year's tournament in the next couple of days.
Thank you very much. Clark Kellogg, CBS Sports, former Buckeye. And you're talking about one of the best, if not the best, at what he does with his studio work as well. Coming up next, Grayson Grundhafer. Football goes into week 2 of spring drills, and maybe some notes as well about recruiting. At 4 o'clock, Jim Howler. We'll also hear from Baylor quarterbacks coach Sean Bell today. We'll also hear from, as well today, Homer Drew on his son Scott on the eve of the Final Four. SicEm365 Radio.
The 22-year anniversary sales event is continuing on now at Richard Carr Motors with 22nd year anniversary savings on all cars and trucks on the lot. All 2021 Buicks have deep discounts. Right now, you can save $4,500 on a 2021 Buick Encore. Save $3,500 on a 2021 Buick Encore GX, or $3,500 on a 2021 Buick Envision. You can save $6,000 off a 2021 Buick Enclave, or qualified buyers can get 0% financing for 72 months. And if you want the best truck, well, then you want a GMC, and you can find savings at Richard Carr like $8,000 off a 2021 GMC Sierra, or save $6,500 on 2021 GMC Acadias or Terrain. So big deals going on right now during the 22-year anniversary sales event. And of course, not only can you get a car from Richard Carr, but while you're doing so, while you're looking around, while you're attempting to buy a new or used vehicle, you're going to get treated really well along the way, because Richard Carr Motors is your local family dealer, and they want to earn your business. They want to do so by offering you great prices, and when you buy a vehicle, free oil changes with that new purchase, plus priority warranty service on all vehicles. So come by their clean and disinfected showroom to take a test drive, or they can bring the test drive to you. It's the big 22-year anniversary sales event going on now at Richard Carr.
Hey, this is Bryce Petty, former starting quarterback and 2-time Big 12 champion. And I know firsthand the importance of being in top shape both on and off the field. So listen up, men. If you're feeling beat down day in and day out and looking for that high-performance edge that separates the men from the boys, then look no further than the Petty Clinic Low T in Waco. Petty Clinic is a comprehensive men's healthcare clinic with an atmosphere catering to men. Board-certified Dr. Kent Petty has a special interest in offering the highest quality medical care to men of all ages. Some of the services offered include screening and treatment for low testosterone or thyroid, infertility, high blood pressure, diabetes, high cholesterol, sleep apnea, while offering comprehensive wellness exams and complete men's health lab panels. High performance men, remember, it's not just a Petty thing. This is Bryce Petty, encouraging you to reach out and Google search Petty Clinic Low T, or go to pettycliniclowt.com and get your complimentary lab screening today.
At Ideal MRI, we feel blessed to be a part of the Waco community. We're a small family business right here in Central Texas, and our goal is to bring down the cost of healthcare while maintaining high quality. At times like this, the cost of healthcare has never been more important, and unfortunately, significant illnesses and injuries still occur. That's why Ideal MRI is open and here to serve you through the difficult time. We offer premium MRIs just like a hospital with state-of-the-art technology and specialists, but you'll pay less. Sometimes thousands of dollars less, whether you're using insurance or not. At Ideal MRI, we accept most insurance, and there are no hidden costs, even offering financing if that's needed. Everything included in the price, and you'll not get something as a surprise in the mail later on. If you need an MRI, ask your doctor about Ideal MRI. They'll know. You can schedule an appointment safely from home online in minutes at idealmri.com, or give us a call, 833-IDEAL-MRI, idealmri.com.
After my first car accident, I feared the biggest damage would be to my wallet. I expected a mountain of bills and a long, drawn-out process. But my Texas Farm Bureau insurance agent was there when I needed her and helped me get back on my feet and in my car in no time. Instead of a hassle, I got reassurance and a quick recovery.
Stop by and see our agents at one of our 3 McLennan County locations.
Coverage and discounts are subject to qualifications and policy terms and may vary by situation.
At Marco's Pizza, get craveable pizza made the Italian way with dough made from scratch, an original sauce recipe, 3 fresh signature cheeses, and premium toppings you love, served hot and safe. Right now, you can get unlimited medium one-topping pizzas for just $6.99 each. Why stop at just one? Order with your app or at marcos.com for curbside, carryout, or delivery today. Marco's, pizza lovers get it.
Southwest Sports Medicine and Orthopedics, the team physician of Baylor Athletics. Our doctors specialize in the diagnosis and treatment of any and all sports-related injuries. Celebrating over a decade of service in Central Texas, our doctors are equipped to handle a wide range of issues, whether it's your foot or ankle, orthopedic spine care, your hand or wrist, knee and shoulder pain, or if you're in need of our arthritis or total joint clinic. Come see us at the new Baylor Scott and White Ted and Sue Getterman Sports and Orthopedic Center. Trusted doctors at Baylor Trust, Southwest Sports Medicine and Orthopedics. Our goal is to get you back in the game.
Welcome back to SicEm365 Radio. It's time for our weekly segment with Grayson Grundhafer of SicEm365.com. Brought to you by Pioneer Steel and Pipe, where customer service is their main focus, and best in metal, steel, and pipe for large or small projects, with 2 locations in Waco and Bryan. Family owned and operated since 1943.
Starting to notice when I walked, I usually go about 5 to 8 blocks down towards where most of the action, and I say energy when it comes to restaurants. There's a mall. There's places from St. Elmo's Steakhouse to Ruth Chris to P.F. Chang's and all the great places around downtown. But I saw 2 or 3 people when I was walking just a Subway, which is less than a block away, Baylor fans here, in cars driving around. Like one stopped at a light when I was crossing the light, and starting to see them descend upon the city of Indianapolis as they get here for tomorrow's game, the semifinal game with Houston. That's been nice to see. There was a nice contingent for that game Monday, but there were a massive amount of University of Arkansas fans, as you could imagine. I still can't hear very well because they were right behind me calling the Hogs. We're now joined by Grayson Grundhafer, SicEm365.com. He and Craig do the podcast every week. It is informative and loaded, and he also joins us on Fridays at 3:45. So, Grayson, your thoughts, 2 weeks, so not quite 2 weeks, but a week and a half into practice. Craig put up a huge summary of what he saw yesterday at practice. Anything in particular from what you've now caught?
Yeah, on the premium side, at least, I also posted some highlights from the practice. But yeah, it was definitely, I think, a really good one to see. I think Craig and I probably both got a better feel for, the jack linebacker position, the defensive backs, got to see them go through some drills. And, I think listening to Jeff Grimes yesterday was a big deal. Also got to listen to 3 of the quarterbacks, which I also found pretty interesting, that they had Bohannon, Zeno, and Chapin, whereas in the other position groups, usually they only have, maybe 2 guys that come up and talk along with, the position coach. So it was really good. And I think overall, the mood is great. There's a happiness. There's a want to be there. And there's a staff that just seems very cohesive and locked in right now. And there's definitely a game plan in place that should allow Baylor to be pretty successful this next season and for years to come.
So by them sending over 3 quarterbacks, does that let you believe that even though there might be a leader or there's not anybody who's running away with it yet?
Honestly, I think the 3 quarterback thing to me just solidified how much the staff is selling to these guys. It's an open competition. And, whether it's selling or the truth or whatever, they're making them definitely know, you go out there and you compete, you're definitely going to have an opportunity to be the starting quarterback. And I think that's a big deal, especially for a guy like Blake Chapin. I know, Zeno and Bohannon probably, they expect to be there. They expect to be the guys that are, starting because they're older. But I think it's a big deal for Shapen to get his first media time under his belt, and also just, instill a little confidence in him that, maybe he could be the guy. And I think that, that's just going to add to the competition. And it looks like Jeff Grimes and, Sean Bell both think that's a great thing for a competition to really be there at quarterback position.
Hey, Grayson, try and relay how happy Sean Bell seemed to be being there with the quarterbacks, being the quarterbacks coach at Baylor.
Oh, man. I don't know that there's a better, when you ask the question and you see a guy just with, the biggest smile possible, that's what it was. I mean, it was just clear that he was just extremely happy, and all he could do was smile when asked about coaching the quarterbacks. And from what I've seen, him working with the quarterbacks, it seems like just a match made in heaven. And I think that the quarterbacks are responding really well. I know Jacob Zeno, for instance, is a guy who was actually recruited by Sean Bell. Sean Bell was in his family's living room at one point recruiting him. So it's like, they have that kind of relationship. And I mean, that goes with the other guys too. Bohannon's been there long enough. He knows Sean Bell well. Blake Shapen's been there a year. He knows him too. So I just think it's really, really cool. And I just feel great for Sean. And I think he's going to do some great things. And that was the best media time he's ever done. He's starting to really sound like a guy who could be a head coach one day.
Sean Bell, of course, yesterday with what Paul was mentioning and the breath of fresh air, this is kind of almost the same thing, but it's not, is that it does seem, Grayson, as if because it's truly open competition, it's not just Jacob Zeno, who everybody wanted last year, and Bohannon seems to have matured, that is it refreshing, in your opinion, across the board with not only the players, but also maybe teammates and coaches?
Yeah, I would think so. I mean, I think they're really just wanting these guys to grow up. And I mean, I think that's the best way to put it. Last year, Bohannon and Zeno they simply weren't ready. I mean, that's just what the staff thought. And so at the end of the day, they just need those guys to get better every single day. And I think when you hear from Gary Bohannon talk about, how he wants to be a leader by example, and then you hear Sean Bell backing that up and saying, he's the guy who's the leader on the team. He's running down the field cheering for guys. And then on the other hand, you hear Jacob talking about getting better every single day. And then you hear Sean Bell saying the thing he loves about Jacob is they get better every single day. So it's just very cohesive, it seems. It seems like the expectations right now are being met by those older guys.
Anybody else?
I'm good. Grayson, anybody stand out to you as far as just the size we're seeing, various position groups, all that kind of stuff? Anything standing out from you from yesterday?
Yeah, there was actually one guy who really, really stood out to me, Craig, and it was the guy who I looked at you, and I think we were both kind of shocked because we haven't really heard a lot about this guy, and we also kind of hadn't seen him, didn't know if he was, hurt or whatnot. But Tyrone Brown. Not the Tyrone Brown that was in the 2021 class, Tyrone Brown that was in the 2018 class, I believe, 2018 or 2019. But either way, he has grown immensely. And when you see him on the field, he wasn't a full-time participant yesterday, so I think he's probably dealing with some sort of, injury or just he's banged up a little bit. But he looks like a guy who's going to be an instant contributor at the jack linebacker position and a guy who could be a big problem for opposing offenses. I was simply stunned. He was the biggest jack linebacker in the room. And when he came in, if y'all remember, he was a safety. I mean, full-on safety. And now, he's a big jack linebacker, probably 235, 240 pounds, and at least 6'4". So really intrigued by him and excited to see him, whenever he gets back on the field. But he was one who definitely stood out yesterday.
All right. Thank you. We'll get with you again, Grayson. Thanks for your time. Grayson Grunhay for SicEm365.com with us. Practice. Craig has a 30. Is it 36, Craig? 36 points?
Yeah, it's 36 takeaways from practice. That includes, stuff we heard in the post-practice media session with Bell and Zeno and Bohannon and Shapen. I included a lot of the things that they said that stood out. For example, Blake Shapen talking about the decision to not play baseball this season, but not closing the door on it. And Bohannon had a lot of great things to say. Zeno looks really good. I mean, they all look really good physically. Shapen is so similar to Charlie Brewer in some ways. It's kind of eerie, and even kind of looks like him a little bit even without the helmet on. Definitely looks like him with the helmet on, but already a better talker than Charlie. Already a little bit more open, although similar and kind of, still not being the most vocal, but he's more vocal than Charlie ever was. But it's kind of funny how similar those two guys are. And yeah, it's nice to actually see these players in person and to kind of get to know their personalities a little bit, because we got none of that last year. That was the first time we've ever talked to Blake Shapen. That's like maybe the second time we've ever talked to Jacob Zeno. That's the first time in like a year we've talked to Gary Bohannon. So that was nice. And I mean, I can't say enough about how excited Sean Bell seems and just how on board everybody seems to be with what they're doing, unlike last year. So yeah, if you're looking for spring football notes on just things that I saw or things that I heard, there's 36 different things from spring practice yesterday of note for Baylor fans that you can access by being a premium member of SicEm365.com.
All right, coming up this 4 o'clock hour, Jim Haller, former Baylor men's basketball coach. Make sure we ask him about having Roy Thomas on, who he knew, who he sent to Broadus, Texas to get Terry Teagle. Sean Bell, we'll hear from him at 4:30. John Machota, Homer Drew, John Gallagher's back. He's the lucky charm from Hartford, and also Gary Bohannon. This is SicEm365 Radio. Pickup Outfitters, and right now, Catskin Leather, and they can set you up, whether it's your pickup truck or SUV or car. And how about with the best you can get with Catskin Leather from Pickup Outfitters, the leader brand of leather replacement seats. Pickup Outfitters of Waco is a Catskin authorized dealer and preferred installer. Pickup Outfitters removing the old cloth from your seats, replacing it with luxurious customer leather. And, of course, the customization options are almost endless. You can choose the colors you want, the type of stitching you want, and let Pickup Outfitters do their magic. And they even have on their website, createacommotion.com, a very cool video on showing the process of taking away what you have right now, the covers of your seats, and making it beautiful and comfortable with Catskin Leather. If it's getting worn out, they can help you with that as well, or if it needs complete replacement. Catskin Leather replacement kits for both cars and trucks available as well. Customer leather seats, factory matching leather seats, and kits. Let Pickup Outfitters of Waco outfit your truck with Catskin Leather. Give them a call. Check them out. CreateACommotion.com. And also, of course, owners, proud Baylor alum Jay Errett and wife Carol.
At Baylor University, students find their place to shine. They're faithful friends and inspirational leaders. They're championship teammates and independent thinkers. They're on the cutting edge of high tech and in the halls of history. If you want to make the world a brighter place, you can. And if you want to shine in your own way, you can. The spark you need is already inside you. Bring it to Baylor, where lights shine bright.
The anniversary sales event is happening now at Richard Carr. 22 years in Central Texas is worth celebrating with big savings on all cars and trucks. Savings like $3,500 off a 2021 Buick Envision or Buick Encore GX. Save $6,000 off a 2021 Buick Enclave. Save $6,500 off a 2021 GMC Terrain or GMC Acadia. Come by for prize giveaways and deep anniversary discounts on every car or truck on the lot. It's the anniversary sales event going on now at Richard Carr.
At Richard Carr, we give you. Do you or your kids get nervous about going to the dentist? Stonewood Dental, Dr. Steve Childress, he can help.
I've spent a career taking care of patients who as children had bad experiences, and now they're adults that equal the dentist. If I get a kid at 3 years old and they come every 6 months, and it's a happy experience, it's normal for them. Now they have an accident at 6 or 7 or 8 at school. Now they have a broken tooth or a trauma, and they have to come here. They're used to lights, they're used to water in their mouth, they're used to experience, they already trust us. It's amazing what we can do with that kid without it being a negative thing. But if I see a 6 or 7 or 8 year old that's never been to a dentist, and now they have a trauma or an unfortunate unexpected toothache, it's harder to do that for that kid and it not be somewhat of a negative experience. So bottom line is I try to treat kids and adults and teenagers and everybody the way I want my family treated, which is where it's a necessary part of life. You just take care of it. It doesn't have to be that big a deal.
Learn more, stonewood-dental.com.
Let Camille Johnson Realtors guide you seamlessly through the process of buying your dream home or selling your current one. Commercial, farm and ranch, or residential, Camille Johnson Realtors can smoothly and successfully lead you through any transaction. With a team of 28 experienced agents who are excited about serving you, Camille Johnson Realtors services the entire greater Waco area. If you're in the market to buy or sell, contact Camille Johnson Realtors, 104 Midway Center in Woodway, or find them online at www.camillejohnson.com. Camille Johnson Realtors, elegant, charming, warm. Welcome home.
It's time to fire up the grill, heat up the oven, or get that deep fryer going to enjoy the top quality products at Waco Custom Marketplace. Order 30-pound sacks of live crawfish by 6 on Wednesday. Pick up on Friday afternoon after 2 or Saturday. Enjoy the weekend. 30-pound sacks of live crawfish available right now for $4.25 a pound. Find all the crawfish boil ingredients you need, including red beef potatoes, sausage, corn cobbets, and Louisiana boil seasoning. Make your order for live crawfish by Wednesday at 6. Pick up on Friday after 2 or all day Saturday, and enjoy the weekend. Waco Custom Marketplace, your home for fresh baked kolache, cinnamon rolls every day. Butcher shop to cut your steaks the way you want. Fresh seafood, summer sausage, boudin, house cured and smoked bacon, spices, seasoning, soup mixes, and more, and weekly gift boxes for any occasion. Waco Custom Marketplace, 425 Lake Air Drive in Waco, or WacoCustomMarketplace.com.
How can we help you? That's a question we ask every day at American Bank. Hi, I'm President and CEO Dana Hassel. Our commitment to our customers is what drives us. It's why we've invested in new branch buildings and technology like ITMs that let you speak to a teller face-to-face from your car. It's why we work with local businesses, helping Waco grow and thrive. And it's why decisions about your accounts and loans are made here in Waco by people who know you. How can we help you? Find out at American Bank, member FDIC.
And it's been a long time coming. The Baylor Bears back in the Final Four for the first time in 71 years.
Welcome back to SicEm365 Radio.
Here goes Mitchell. Oh, what a pass. Driving off that baseline, Maceo Teague.
Our coverage of the NCAA tourney in Indianapolis is brought to you by IdealMRI.com. Southwest Sports Medicine and Orthopedics. Allen Samuels Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram Fiat. Marco's Pizza. U.S. Army Waco Recruiting Company. American Bank. Willis Law Firm. Chapman's Bail Bonds. Richard Carr Buick GMC Cadillac. First National Bank of Central Texas. The Nichi Group. And Pickup Outfitters.
He's shifting.
The 4 o'clock hour is sponsored by Boozer's Jewelers, the wedding ring store, specializing in custom jewelry and repair, all in-house.
A little nickel dimer in the lane, and it goes. Yes, a basket counts.
Gee. Now we go live to coverage of the NCAA men's tournament in Indianapolis. Here's David Smoak, Paul Catalina, and Craig Smoak.
All right, this 4 o'clock hour, Baylor quarterbacks coach Sean Bell. Eventually we'll hear from him. An hour from now, Homer Drew, Scott Drew's father, joined us earlier today. That interview was his son's on the eve of the Final Four. But Jim Haller, former Baylor men's basketball coach and overall just a hell of a guy and great color analyst as well with what he does, joins us on SicEm365 Radio. Jim, how much fun are you having watching a program that you've been so much a part of? Watch them where they are right now.
All I can tell you is the Baylor men's basketball program has come a long way from playing in a rodeo arena. I can tell you that.
Yeah.
It's just amazing. I'm telling you, I am the most proud, happy person in the world to know Scott Drew like we all do and to see him finally get the reward that he and his staff has deserved for so long.
Jim, I know you've seen Houston play a few times, and I know Kelvin Sampson's one heck of a coach. What do you think about this matchup on Saturday?
Oh, I'll tell you what, it's going to be a classic. You know, I've known Kelvin Sampson since he coached. I did a TV game when he was coaching at Washington State way long ago. Many games when he was at Oklahoma. I've watched them in person several times this year. I was at their game in Fort Worth at that new Dickies Arena when they played Texas Tech earlier in the year and beat the Red Raiders, I think, by 10 or 12. But I think it's going to be a great matchup, but it is going to be one tough, physical, very, very rough basketball game. There's nobody that rebounds the ball better than the Houston Cougars do.
Is that the biggest challenge they face, you think, as far as just putting the two teams side by side, the rebound battle?
Yeah, I don't think there's any doubt about it. I'm not sure I've seen a team in years that go on the offensive glass like Houston does. I mean, they're on them. Every time that ball is shot, they're on a mission to get it back. And they put a lot of effort, a lot of intensity. I've watched a lot of Kelvin Sampson practices over the years. That's always been a big point of emphasis for him, and it's never been done better than what his team's doing it this year.
Jim, are there similarities to Arkansas and Houston in any way?
Well, I think they're both very aggressive. I think Arkansas is probably a little bit better offensively. Houston is way better on the boards and way better defensively. The Cougars, as good as they are, they're not a great offensive team, but they offset that with all their other strengths. And Kelvin Sampson makes a lot of good decisions. This is just a great matchup. I think Baylor is better definitely on the offensive side of the ball, but it's going to be a game of chess as far as I'm concerned. I think there could be a lot of strategy used both ways.
So if Baylor can get out early and score kind of like they did against Arkansas, Houston, you don't think has the firepower to maybe do what Arkansas did and claw back to within 4?
Well, I think Arkansas is not near as they're a physical, aggressive team, but not in the same category with this Houston team. I would say that's probably a true statement, Paul, that if they got way behind, they have a harder time coming back, but their defense can get stops so easily because that's their number one priority. It's just, I think it's just going to be a fun game to watch, and there's just so many storylines involved in the game. I mean, Houston, those players, I mean, Quentin Grimes was one of the top 5 high school players in the country when he came out of the Woodlands High School to go to Kansas, and Sasser was highly recruited, and Gorham, he's a fabulous rebounder. You can get in Giroux. I mean, what a story he's had for Houston. You know, started out at the University of Massachusetts, goes to Howard College out in Big Spring. Now he's playing at Houston. I mean, these kids, these two programs are really what modern Division I basketball has become. There's a lot of outstanding transfers that have made both of these programs possible to be in the Final Four.
Davion Mitchell, obviously deserving of many postseason awards. He picked up some Defensive Player of the Year honors. Just the season he's had. I mean, now there's a lot of talk about him being an NBA lottery pick. He's definitely bumped up his expectations in that regard over the course of this year. How special has it been to watch his development over this time?
Well, it's incredible, Craig, because I tell you, I don't think I've ever watched a player that goes as hard as he does every day in practice, every game. There's never a lower motor on that young man. He's always going as fast as he can go in every phase of the game. I just love him as a person. I love him as a player. He give the Baylor coaching staff a lot of credit. He's a lot better player now than he was when they got him from Auburn. They've just done a terrific job of using his skills and making him a very, very special player. I think, as Jay Billis said, he's probably the most indispensable player in the Final Four.
Well, and you're going to get another Player of the Year, Defensive Player of the Year honor today. Jim, against Villanova, they had to grind back down 7. It did look shaky, but then they turned on the Jets. Against Arkansas, they had the big lead and kind of let it go, but they never did trail, but they had to kind of get pushed a little bit. And obviously the other games aren't just cakewalks either. Is it good to have different ways you have to win even though you'd like to win by 20? Is it good to kind of get pushed in different ways?
I think without a doubt, Baylor had so many challenges just getting through the Big 12 schedule that they're better prepared than, say, Houston for all the different things you might see in this type of a matchup. That's not to say Houston's not well prepared. What I was going to come by, you mentioned Baylor doing such a great job of coming back against Villanova. That's against one of the greatest programs, in my opinion, in the history of NCAA basketball, Jay Wright. That guy is great, and yet Baylor came back from a 7-point deficit. Musselman at Arkansas is a terrific coach with the different X's and O's things and schemes that he uses. So, I mean, Baylor is really, really well prepared, and I give a lot of credit to the toughness of the Big 12 when you consider there were 7 teams in the league this year that were really, really, really good.
Jim, what do you think about some of the coaching changes and upheavals this week with Chris Beard going to Texas, Tech on the market for a new coach, and Roy Williams hanging it up?
Well, it didn't surprise me that Roy Williams hung it up. I've known him for many, many, many years. I've got great respect. One of the nicest, maybe the nicest long-time coach in the business. But he was obviously frustrated with all these changes. And when you coached a certain way, it's tough to adjust to all these transfers and all the different things that are going on in college basketball. So him resigning at 70 years old really didn't surprise me. I'm anxious to see what Oklahoma does. I know there's rumors this afternoon that they're in talks with Porter Moser up at Loyola Chicago, but Texas Tech, they'll get a great coach. It didn't surprise me that Chris Beard went back to Texas just because that's where he went to school. And the guy loves challenges. And, you know, Texas has been down for a long time in basketball. And they haven't had a win in the NCAA tournament in a long time. And he thinks that's the type of challenge he would like. I know him well enough. Money had absolutely nothing to do with it. We know Texas is the richest athletic department in America, but I don't think he went there for the big bucks. He was already making huge money at Texas Tech, but Tech will get a good coach. I'm still anxiously watching Oklahoma, and there could be some of the former Baylor assistants' names involved at those schools. I know Grant McCaslin's on a lot of lists at North Texas because of the success he's had in the Sun Belt Conference and Conference USA. And goodness gracious, nobody's done a better job than Paul Mills and the shockers he pulled off in the NCAA tournament. So it'll be fun to watch all that. But you're going to have next year in the Big 12, you're going to have a new coach at Iowa State, a new coach at Texas, a new coach at Oklahoma, and a new coach at Texas Tech. How about that for a shakeup?
Yeah, absolutely. No question about it.
Yeah, and Jim, while you're talking, John Rothstein said that it's not official, but pretty much all indications are Porter Moser is going to be headed to Norman, Oklahoma to be their next head basketball coach.
Well, I'm going to tell you what, Porter is a terrific, terrific coach. He proved that several years back when he got the national attention going to the Final Four, and he had a great team this year. And that'd be a great coach for OU, and that'll just be another to the list of Big 12 coaches that have coached in the Final Four. Not many conferences in the country can come close to matching that number.
Jim, we've said, what does it mean to be where they are now? Can you imagine doing a show? I could be here in Indianapolis Monday as we head towards possibly a championship game. Have they checked the boxes off no matter their goals and how hungry they remain? Have they checked the boxes off to make this as memorable as it could possibly be other than this weekend?
Well, I think if they get to the national championship game, they've checked all the boxes because most of the experts all year have said Gonzaga and Baylor were head and shoulders the top 2 teams in America. And if they can get by what I think is going to be a really, really tough game tomorrow, that would be checking all the boxes. But I'm going to tell you something, for Baylor to be in the Final Four, and just think about this, for basketball in the state of Texas to have 2 of the 4 teams in the Final Four is just phenomenal. And then 2 years back, we had Texas Tech. So Texas is finally getting recognized for the talent that comes up in this state and the talent of the coaches.
What do you think this weekend is like for the Brooks family?
Well, I'm sure it's going to be a joy. You know, everybody says it's probably stressful. My goodness, how I've known Alvin, the Baylor assistant daddy, Alvin Brooks, for years. I knew him when he played at Lamar. I knew him coach there. I knew him when he did a lot of TV games when he was the coach at the University of Houston. They're just such a nice, respected family. And of course, Alvin, the University of Houston assistant, the daddy, has just been named the head coach at Lamar. So that's going to be fun to watch that. But certainly that family's got to be on cloud nine, having both of them in the Final Four coaching.
All right. So yesterday we had one of my favorite people, Roy Thomas. Did his games when he was a head coach at Tyler Junior College. He played, of course, at Baylor. You know, you were the one that said, hey, go to Broadus, Texas, and bring back this Teagle kid. Can you kind of go over that with us? He was so
let
excited.
Me tell you something. Roy Thomas, there's no finer human being in the world than that. And he is a great coach. And I just relish the days that we had together when he was on my staff at Baylor. And he never got the credit he deserved. You know, people always talk about, well, the head coach did this, got this recruit and all. Believe me, in any sport, the assistants are the key there. And we would have never gotten Terry Teagle if Roy Thomas hadn't been such a great assistant on our staff. And, you know, Roy being from Deep East Texas and Terry from Deep East Texas, there was an instant connection there. And I've just loved following Roy's career. I hated it when I lost him off of our staff. He became the head coach at North Carolina A&T. And he's just done great things. He's a great family man, and just I'm thrilled to death you had him on. I wished I'd had the opportunity to hear the stories, but he was a great player, and he's just a great representative for Baylor University, and I'm proud to have been associated with him.
I know you are busy, Jim. Thanks for your time. I will send you a file of that interview, and I'll text it to you so you can listen to it at your convenience. How about that?
Fantastic. All right. Well, I
Thank
appreciate it, Smokey, Paul, Craig. Thanks all of you for what you do for sports in our area. Have a good one.
He is another stick your head in a tank of gasoline and light it with a match type of a guest, and Jim Howler. We appreciate his time. So, yes, while Jim was on, a lot of reports now about Porter Moser going to Oklahoma. Same type thing you heard with Texas Tech, that Loyola made a huge offer to keep him. The decision has been extremely tough. Same thing you heard Chris Beard say, it was not about the money, but you know it's always, in some ways, it is about the money, but also the fact he's an alum. So that means Texas Tech is on the clock. That's the conference just got better because Texas with Chris Beard should be better than with Shaka Smart. He's got to go do it. Oklahoma, though, Lon Kruger's a Hall of Famer, but Porter Moser's really good. We know how good Loyola was.
If I was Brady Manick, and especially if I was Brady Manick, just given what I've seen from the big guys that Porter Moser has coached that can shoot, I'd be like, you know what? Transfer portal, nope, done. I'm coming back.
Yeah. Well, or he may have been told that.
Yeah.
Maybe he already knew that, and he decided that was what he was going to do. I don't know.
I don't know. I'd want to play for Porter Moser personally. I mean, the dude can coach. I mean, he can X and O maybe better than almost anybody.
Yeah, I think it's a great hire. It's not all the way done, but I mean, it's at that point in the, in the discussion where, I mean, it looks like they're just waiting to cross T's and dot I's. So it does appear, unless something completely falls through, that it'll be Moser to OU. And yeah, I wonder what Texas Tech does. Do they have somebody already within the program that's ready? Do they have somebody who's formerly from the program that, is ready? Or is there somebody that has no connections and they just, go clean slate? I know one thing, I wouldn't hire a former UT alum. I don't care how good of a coach he is. That'd be one thing I would avoid. Or anybody that is an alum of a Big 12 school, quite frankly. But yeah, that's the domino now. So will be a very interesting Big 12 basketball season for sure, because, Lon Kruger was a great coach. Shaka, I think, is a good coach, but yeah, it's even tougher now for sure.
Yep, it is. No question about it. We'll have Sean Bell coming up in a moment. Craig, we didn't get a chance to get to Off the Radar with you tomorrow or yesterday. You want to do that today or what? Do you have something locked in?
If we have time to, we can.
Okay. All right. We'll see where we are on that. And get into that. I got a couple of other off the beat stories as well. I want to get into, I know there's a UFC note. There is an Aaron Rodgers game show note, and there's a Kevin Durant story that we got to kind of tackle a little bit, among many other things. One of the notes, by the way, at Baylor Sports over the weekend, or also the last 24 hours, volleyball lost to Texas State. Their season, as far as regular season, over. Selection Sunday for the tournament is Sunday afternoon. Softball playing Brigham Young twice today, including a game going on right now. Men, baseball playing North Carolina A&T twice today. And the track and field hosting the Baylor Invitational at Clyde Hart Track and Field Stadium. That is going on, in fact, tomorrow.
Yeah, that volleyball loss is weird, though. Like that, they just played terribly. I mean, that's Texas State. I mean, I know that they have an okay program, but I mean, Baylor's a top 10 team in the country. So that was bizarre to see that final roll in, and not really encouraging, not a real big momentum push into the next level of the season. But, hopefully they rebound from that, and it was just an off night. But that was pretty surprising to see that final score.
All right. When we come back, SicEm365 Radio from Waco, from Indianapolis, on the eve of the Final Four. The number to call on the text line, 254-339-1122, 254-339-1122, and this is SicEm365 Radio. If you've gotten into your mid to upper 30s, maybe even, of course, older, 40s, 50s, 60s, wherever you are, and you've kind of started not to feel the same. One, Father Time wins every day. Father Time's undefeated. But there are things that go on within your system as men that can change, including various counts of what's in your blood, including testosterone level. Not everybody, but 1 out of every 3 men have symptomatic issues when it comes to low testosterone or testosterone levels that are dropping. Testosterone can affect your sex drive. It can affect ED. It can affect your sleeping habits. It can affect how you feel, your mood, and also, even your focus. So here's what you can do. Why not? 1 out of every 3 men have symptomatic issues of low testosterone. So you can get online, pettycliniclowt.com, pettycliniclowt.com. Dr. Petty and his staff will set you up with blood work, lab work, set you up with the appointment where you should go, get the work back, get the blood levels back, the testosterone levels back, your lab work back, and find out if your testosterone levels are lower than they should be. And if they are, he can put you in a program to increase your testosterone levels so you can become the high-performance man you want to be. 1 out of every 3 men have this. You might be that one. And then again, you might be fortunate. But then maybe a year from now, something changes. Don't forget, if you feel like you need to get your testosterone level checked, pettycliniclowt.com.
1, 2.
I'm in love with a man named Rudy. I'm okay with that. He knows exactly what I want. He keeps me coming back. Cooks breakfast, lunch, and dinner for me. Does the dishes too. I'm in love with a man named Rudy. Last name Barbecue. It sure is easy to fall in love with Rudy's tasty oak smoked barbecue.
Next in line.
Boozers is the wedding ring store and more. If you're ready to get engaged or already married and want to upgrade your wife's ring for a special anniversary, Boozers is the place to go. With the largest selection of premier quality diamond engagement rings and wedding rings in Central Texas. They have 7 cases with over 300 styles of rings from top designers like Natalie Kay. Choose from yellow, white, or rose gold, plus beautiful top quality loose diamonds. With an in-house jewelry, they can also custom make anything you want. Bring in a picture or drawing and let Boozers create your one-of-a-kind pendant or ring. They can even use some of your old gold and diamond jewelry to create something new. At Boozers, you'll find a great selection of quality timepieces, and Boozers is the place for expert watch maintenance and repairs, too. They specialize in expert Rolex watch repair for fine jewelry, watches, custom work, and more. Go to Boozers on Valley Mills and Lake Air Drive in Waco.
Boozers, the wedding ring store and more.
How did Edward Jones become one of the biggest financial service companies in the world? By not acting that way. Financial strategies, one-on-one advice, it's a big difference. And that's why Brad Wilson, your Edward Jones financial advisor, makes sense of investing. Experience the difference for yourself. Brad Wilson, 250 Sharon Drive in Woodway, 254-776-4337. Edward Jones, member SIPC.
Boots add protection. Good boots help you climb better and move forward faster. And when your son or daughter steps into the boots of a U.S. Army officer, they also learn how to lead. In these boots, they'll gain more confidence with expert training in one of more than 150 occupational specialties. In these boots, they'll stand a little taller and lead a team with diverse backgrounds and areas of expertise to successfully accomplish whatever challenge comes next. In these boots, they'll earn respect with valuable experience from day one that will give them solid footing for success into the future. Highly qualified candidates who earn a spot on our team can receive comprehensive health care coverage, college tuition assistance, and a bonus of up to $40,000. See all the things your son or daughter can achieve in our boots at GoArmy.com. U.S. Army Waco Recruiting Company, 254-598-8131 or 254-776-1543.
From the first workout to the last practice, sports is an incredible and rewarding challenge. Hi, everyone. This is Dan Ingham with the First National Bank of Central Texas, and we're proud to support each athlete, every parent, and our educators. From families, small businesses, to the biggest industry, we're here to help. With remarkable products like mortgage lending, we've got banking ideas that fuel big dreams. The First National Bank of Central Texas. Familiar faces making local decisions.
Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender. Welcome back to SicEm365 Radio.
Have you downloaded the SicEm365 Radio app? Do it today on the App Store and Google Play.
Welcome back into SicEm365 Radio. Paul Catalina, Craig Smoak, and David Smoak. And as you can see, I am smokeless right now, smoke-free.
I'm here.
There you go. There he is. And let's see if Smokey figures out we're back on the air here in a second. But we'll have Sean Bell here in just a second. Audio from yesterday's practice. But Smokey has a couple of notes before we get to that.
Yeah, Craig was there at practice. A couple of things. I want you guys can go rapid fire this if you want to. Aaron Rodgers. I didn't know this. He's a huge lifelong fan of Jeopardy.
Yeah.
In fact, at one point he was a celebrity, guest on Jeopardy with, of course, the passing of Alex Trebek. He just recorded a couple of weeks of hosting Jeopardy and said that he spent as much time as focused and as ready and prepared as he ever would be for any ever game he's ever played in his life as far as studying Alex Trebek and how the show went about its business.
I hope he gets that gig when he retires. Although, I mean, it's going to be a while. I think Ken Jennings is probably going to get it, but I mean, shoot, I'm sure he did a good job.
Yeah, I haven't watched Jeopardy in like 20 years. I hear all the talk about the hosts, and Aaron Rodgers is an interesting choice. He's an interesting guy. If you've ever heard interviews with him talking about life outside of football, and I know a lot of people don't like him for whatever reasons, but I find him just to be really interesting. And I would maybe check out Jeopardy for the first time in a while if Aaron Rodgers was hosting it, just to see kind of how he handles things.
Yeah, he said that he actually stunned. I think he said that those who produce it, the directors and all that, because of how prepared he was. And he had an IFB in his ear like we do, like when we're doing the show or doing what we do. And they said, take a break. He took a break where sometimes maybe people wouldn't quite handle that part of it. He said he was very smooth, that it wasn't perfect, but he thinks that he blew them away by how he handled his opportunity.
The key to Jeopardy, to be the next host of Jeopardy, is what Alex Trebek was so good at, which was pretending like you knew the answer, even though it's on the card. Oh no, of course we're talking about Degas. Like, did you really know that, Alex, or you just knew how to like really put a fine point on it?
Yep. Baylor softball lost to Brigham Young 7-5. Lost yesterday, I think it was last night up in Provo. So they've lost 2 out of 3. They'll play again later on today. And Craig, I saw this. This is your cup of tea. Conor McGregor and Poirier, is that right? With a trilogy fight coming up down the road?
I mean, I'm not Mr. Conor McGregor these days, but yeah, I mean, that makes sense. Conor won the first fight years ago. Poirier won the most recent fight, and now they're going to fight in July once again. So, I mean, I don't know. I don't know how I feel about it. Conor these last few times, there's all this buzz, and then I just don't feel like there's as much of a payoff, and there's just so much time in between fights. He's not what he used to be, and I hate that. And a lot of that is not only results in the ring, but mostly outside of the ring. Kind of similar to John Jones in a way. But yeah, I mean, I'm glad to know that he's fighting. So I mean, that's the good part, is that we're gonna get to see Conor McGregor, and I sure hope he looks better than the last go round. Poirier was clearly the better fighter. Conor's getting older, and he's had so many layoffs and just different legalities to deal with and all of that. It's been weird these last few years of his career. But I'll never forget the way he treated me when we met. And I know he's made some mistakes, but I still like the guy, and I hope that he can be a positive influence and get back on track a little bit as a fighter. Quit with all this, Floyd Mayweather stuff and all this other junk that he was doing half the time. Just focus on fighting. That's what made you rich. That's what made you who you are. So I'm excited to see Conor get back in there. I've been way more excited for other trilogies in the UFC. This one doesn't do it for me so much, but I'll still be intrigued enough to check it out.
All right. Remember the story, Myers Leonard, who was out for the year because of his shoulder injury, had been playing a video game, and he used some sort of a racial slur in the middle of playing in a game. And all of a sudden he got a call from his wife who said, hey, this is kind of blowing up a little bit. And then if the NBA fined him $50,000, you can't suspend him, I don't think. I don't know, because he's not playing. He was suspended from Heat facilities for a week. Well, today the NBA has finally reacted to Kevin Durant and whatever he was tweeting, texting, direct messaging back and forth with comedian Michael Rappaport, posting private messages that Rappaport said were anti-gay, misogynistic slurs. Durant said, I'm sorry that people saw the language I used. That's not really what I want people to see and hear from me. I could hopefully move past it. It kind of sat there for about 24 to 36 hours. He has been fined now by the NBA $50,000. And there was one point where there was a part where the NBA said they suggested that he have a talk with Steve Nash. So has this all been handled about right?
I don't know. I mean, look, it's a private message between two guys, and there's no bigger baby in the NBA than Kevin Durant. So I'm not surprised that a comedian giving an opinion got him all mad. And apparently Kevin Durant believes Michael Rappaport to be his friend. And that was his thing, was like, we talk like this all the time. Well, I don't know. And Michael Rappaport can be kind of annoying. I'm not really sure, but I mean, look, if Myers Leonard is going to get in trouble, and Myers Leonard should have gotten in trouble, then Kevin Durant should also get in trouble. And he did, and he got fined, and I hope it just ends soon.
Yeah, I think Michael Rappaport's a total D-bag, complete D-bag. I also think Kevin Durant can be one as well. I don't know how I feel about people exposing private messages. That's why I'm always very cautious if someone sends me a DM. I don't say anything that could potentially be screenshotted, and I don't mean like in the way of like racial slurs, or like, I mean like just anything that could be considered sensitive or taken the wrong way. It sucks that you kind of have to keep that in mind in the agenda of some people. So I think Rappaport and Durant, I mean, clearly two guys who need to get off Twitter for a while. Both have traits that I don't really admire that much, but I really don't like Michael Rappaport. I really don't like that guy. And KD, I'm just kind of whatever with. He should probably get off Twitter, though, because it seems like most of his dust-ups occur because of social media. So at this point, maybe it's best that he logs off. But, yeah, I mean, Myers Leonard, he got waived and, got all that blowback. So it's only, right that everybody who's engaging in anything that could be considered, crude language towards any race or gender or what have you should be equally dealt with. I think if they didn't do anything to Kevin Durant, then there would be a massive double standard that would create a lot of questions. So I think they handled it the way they should have.
All right. I agree. I think that if they wouldn't have done something, if they would have looked the other way or just kind of just let this thing fall by the wayside, it would be absolutely an absolute double standard, which we are seeing a little bit enough of in the first place at times, not always, but at times. All right. So, Paul, Catalina, we have Sean Bell ready to go.
Okay,
Craig,
here's what I want to do. Here's what I want to do. Because we went a little overtime, let's take a break here, do Machota, do Homer Drew and John Gallagher, and then do Sean Bell and one of the quarterbacks back-to-back with a little discussion in between after Gallagher.
All right, we'll do that. John Machota, theathletic.com, will join us momentarily. By the way, in the next break, the next segment as well, the Nationals and the Mets had their series postponed. 3 tested positive from the Nationals. A 4th they thought might be also a problem as far as testing. They do play each other 19 times. They're scheduled to, so they'll have plenty of time to make it up with either off days or double headers. Rangers don't play tonight. They had to go find a new pitching staff for game 2 tomorrow. Huh?
They are terrible. They're going to I have no faith in this organization. I have no faith in ownership. I have no faith in John Daniels. I have no faith in anybody. That team sucks. And, they have Kyle Gibson as their opening day starter. I mean, I'm so just sort of like blah about the whole thing that I didn't really care to say too much, but that tells you what you need to know. Didn't even go 2 innings. Your opening day starter didn't even go 2 innings, and he's your best pitcher.
Yeah.
So buckle in, Rangers fans. It's going to be a really long ride this year, and I don't know what I'm supposed to get excited about. I have no idea as a Rangers fan what I'm supposed to be pumped up for outside of baseball's back. Okay, great. Baseball's back. I'm excited about that. But I'd be more excited if I had a reason to care about the team that I have cared about all my life, of which they've given me no reason to. And They don't seem to have any direction. They don't seem to have any plan, because I thought like 2 years ago they were rebuilding, and I don't know what this roster is that they put together. So I'm just so apathetic at this point with the Rangers organization. Still love the team and will root for them, but God, they're terrible.
Yeah, they are. It's they got a couple of young guys I'll watch, but I'm not going to spend a lot of evenings like I normally would watching them. When we come back, we'll hear from John Machota on the Cowboys at 5:00. Homer Drew on Scott and the Drew family, and how special it is, the fact that they're in Indianapolis and Scott was able to coach his team twice where he played, or where he went to college, at Butler University inside Hinkle Fieldhouse. There's a lot to get to on the eve of the Final Four. 254-339-1122. Light up the text line, brought to you by Riverbend Liquor and Wine, with your thoughts. And if you even want to throw a prediction and a couple of comments about Baylor and Houston, this is SicEm365 Radio. IdealMRI.com. Let's say that something just feels a little bit worse than it should. Muscle, a ligament, or you don't know if it's a ligament. Maybe it's something that feels like it could be torn, or maybe it's just a little bit worse than what you would think if you pulled something. But even maybe if you pulled something, it hurts badly, whether it's in your leg or your knee, or maybe down near your foot or your shoulder or your neck, your back, whatever it is. And you need something to check to see what it is, because it hurts more than just something that's sore. IdealMRI.com can help you out. They have state-of-the-art technology and MRI machine inside their building, which is inside the Central Texas Marketplace. Let me tell you about Ideal MRI. They'll save you hundreds of dollars. I'm not saying they might. They will. Every MRI is $497 or less every single time. It's not $497 to get you to the door, and the next time it's $1,800. $497 for an MRI at Ideal MRI. Go online to set up an appointment or ask questions, idealmri.com. If you've talked to a doctor, orthopedic surgeon about something that hurts, that's more than just something that a couple of Advil or an Aleve will take care of. It hurts where you can't function or sleep or even do anything else. Ideal MRI is an option. So when your doctor suggested MRI, you suggest idealmri.com.
Past couple of years, we've had a lot of people moving in from out of state to Waco thanks to Chipper and JoJo. And while we welcome these new citizens, they unfortunately brought some of their bad habits with them. Hi, Jay here from Pickup Outfitters, and you know what I'm talking about. Naked trucks. You'd think everyone moved here from McNewtville, but we shouldn't judge them, we should help them. For example, when you see a recent transplant truck from a less civilized state like California, instead of saying, your truck is disgusting, your bed is exposed, get a bed cover on that truck, buddy, that's a bit harsh. Instead, try something like, in Texas, it's not polite to drive around with your bed exposed. Maybe you should check out the excellent selection of bed covers at Pickup Outfitters. And then if they refuse, you can say, well, I hear New Mexico's a nice state. Let's help our new neighbors and let them know that truck nudity is not okay. Let them know about Pickup Outfitters of Waco and send them to our website, createacommotion.com.
In the market for a quality metal building? Since 1943, Pioneer Steel and Pipe has helped Central Texas residential and commercial customers with metal building design, panel options, building components, and trim options. Pioneer Steel and Pipe's residential line is energy efficient, offers low maintenance, reduces insurance payments, is impact resistant, and carries up to a 45-year limited warranty. In addition, they can also help you find a metal building contractor for your project. Pioneer Steel and Pipe with locations in Waco and Bryan and at pioneersboys.com.
Born in Waco, Brotherwell Brewing exists to serve the Central Texas community with locally crafted beer of the highest quality. They want to bring Central Texas closer to the brewing experience so everyone can enjoy well-made beer as much as they do. For 2.5 years, they've been bringing high-quality beer to Central Texas at their location on Bridge Street in East Waco. Brotherwell Brewing believes in community and bringing people together to enjoy products made in their community. So for your game day, whether it's a tailgate or at home, stop by Brotherwell Brewing for high-quality craft beer made right here in Central Texas, 400 East Bridge Street, and check them out online at brotherwell.com.
Southwest Sports Medicine and Orthopedics, the team physician of Baylor Athletics. Our doctors specialize in the diagnosis and treatment of any and all sports-related injuries. Celebrating over a decade of service in Central Texas, our doctors are equipped to handle a wide range of issues, whether it's your foot or ankle, orthopedic spine care, your hand or wrist, knee and shoulder pain, or if you're in need of our arthritis or total joint clinic. Come see us at the new Baylor Scott and White Ted and Sue Getterman Sports and Orthopedic Center. Trust the doctors at Baylor Trust, Southwest Sports Medicine and Orthopedics. Our goal is to get you back in the game.
One size fits all. That may be all right for an adjustable belt or cheap sunglasses, but when it comes to your financial needs, no one wants a one-size-fits-all strategy. Cam Heathcott, your Edward Jones financial advisor, knows that his most important goals are yours. That's why he takes the time to understand your needs, knowing you. That's how Edward Jones makes sense of investing. Cam Heathcott, covering Conroe and Houston, 936-756-7717, or cam.heathcott@edwardjones.com. Edward Jones, member SIPC.
Don's Humidor, your home with a 48-foot walk-in humidor with the elite cigar brands from around the world, including the #1 cigar of the year, Aging Room Cuatro Nicaragua. Plus, they have the great brands like Macanudo and Arturo Fuente, Rocky Patel, Aston, and so much more. CBD, great for sore muscles, aches and pains, sleep, Vita Dreams, and anxiety, mild depression, general health and wellness. Their staff very knowledgeable on the subject. If anyone is curious about CBD, ask Carol and Ashley. Don's Humidor in the Townwood Shopping Center off Valley Mills in Waco.
Welcome back to SicEm365 Radio. It's time for our weekly segment with John Machota of The Athletic, brought to you by Pioneer Steel and Pipe, where customer service is their main focus, and best in metal, steel, and pipe for large or small projects, with 2 locations in Waco and Bryan. Family owned and operated since 1943.
John Machota, theathletic.com. It's at Jon Machota, Machota, on Twitter. John Machota joins us normally it's on Wednesdays at 5, but we've had to move some things around because of our coverage with Baylor in the semifinals of the NCAA tournament as well. And of course, a lot of things starting to shake. They'll eventually have what will be the NFL Combine here in Indianapolis here somewhat soon. In fact, a lot of that starts next week. I was reading that article to you about that on SI.com. So that's That's coming up here pretty soon with the NFL. From Scotty B, waiting for Paul Catalina.
Yeah,
I also
he's sorry, he's on.
Scotty B said I've been invited to be on College Game Day virtually, which will last from 2 p.m. to 5 p.m. Eastern time. Scotty B of Sic'em365, our audience, our beat reporter on everything Baylor, is going to be a part of College Game Day virtually tomorrow. Good for you, Scotty B.
Hey, Scotty B, shower up. I mean, like, give a good washing. You want your face to pop on camera. Make sure you've got your hair or your wig, whatever the thing you do, all looking good.
Are you suggesting he doesn't do that every day?
No, I just want to make sure he does it beforehand. Okay. I mean, like, you can get busy and forget, and then, oh my God, I got to be on a Zoom.
I hope you're never too busy to shower.
Well, no, look, someday, like when we were doing the show here and Machota's on the line, there are days where I would get busy, like doing stuff in production. And then I'd be like, oh, they're going to be here in like 20 minutes. I better grab a quick shower, So
glad you knew that. We're now joined by John Machota. John, we're getting close now. It's April. This is the month of the NFL draft. The combine coming up very, very soon. How much and I don't know this, and I should know it after all the years of doing this. When do they put their board together? Is it after the combine?
Typically, it would be, and they would mix in all the pro days. But here's the other thing, that in usual years, they would have those 30 visits. And that was always so telling, because whoever they would have in, generally those guys would be on their radar as guys that, hey, keep an eye on, because they wouldn't just bring in the top 30 guys that were on their board. They would bring in, probably 15 or 20 of the guys would be, first, early, second round type caliber players. But they would bring in a bunch of guys that, that they might not get a chance to get until maybe the third, fourth, or maybe even as an undrafted rookie free agent. There's none of that this year. It's like everything is on these pro days, because even the combine this year in Indy isn't like the typical combine. This is just for medicals, and it doesn't have nearly as many players that are normally there. So it's all about their pro days. And as you guys have seen from these numbers that have come out from a lot of these pro days, the numbers are generally in the favor of the players. So it's just a hard read. This is going to be one of the most difficult years for teams to draft. I mean, last year wasn't great either, but this is going to be even more difficult, because you just don't have the contact with the players that you normally would. You don't have that face-to-face, being out in Indy and getting, 20, 30 minutes with a prospect, kind of grill them and things like that. You can do Zoom calls and stuff like that, but it's just not the same. And so this is a big time, though, for the Cowboys, because as you guys know, and everyone listening that follows the Cowboys, this is their biggest chance to improve the roster. They've signed guys in free agency, but they're not guys that are really moving the needle big time. The biggest impact they're going to add will be with most likely those 4 picks that they have in the top 99.
John, what has the free agency told you about how they approach the draft, or anything? Or is it just filling spots they need in case they don't get what they want?
Paul, I'm kind of embarrassed to even admit this, but they got me falling into the trap, and I'm kind of believing that they're putting more value on the safety position than we've seen in previous years. Now, I'm going to say that, and then they're not going to even draft a safety, and they're just going to be going with DeMonte KZ and Donovan Wilson, and then we're going to be doing the same song and dance a year from now. But it just seems like bringing in KZ, bringing in Keanu Neal, J-Ron Kearse, it just seems like there's some better depth there. Now, those are all really one-year deals, so that doesn't prevent you from doing anything in the draft, but there just seems like there's going to be some good safety prospects there when they pick in the second and early in the third. And that's where I'm really intrigued. Like, are they finally going to address this? The other thing is really corner. And I just think they need another outside type corner. And obviously Patrick Surtain at 10 makes a ton of sense if he's there. But what if he's not? And what if you address a different position there because he's gone? Then you got to possibly address corner in the second round, which is fine. It just, those bigger type corners that Dan Quinn would probably prefer are probably going to be gone. It's going to be guys like Elijah Molden and guys like Asante Samuel, who are good corners, but they're not the big long corners that, let's say, a Trayvon Diggs or a Richard Sherman or a Byron Jones. So as you can tell, I'm pretty focused on them finding a way to fix this defensive backfield.
John, are they going to have the typical Dallas day for the local prospects?
As of right now, I don't believe so. While the NFL has talked about, them opening more things up in terms of workouts that the players will be doing, mini camps and things like that, they're still talking about a lot of stuff done via Zoom to start off. The hope is that I believe as in, more people get vaccinated and the hope is that the numbers of COVID cases go down
across the country, that then they'll continue to open things up more and more, and it'll get more like it has been in previous years in terms of like people being at the facility and working out and it being more of a normal environment. But I don't think that's happened yet. Because of that, I don't think they're going to have that stuff. And you know, that's good that you pointed that out, because it has been huge for the Cowboys. I mean, obviously this state and in particular this area has been so talent rich that you've been able to like bring in guys that wouldn't count against your 30 visits to get an extra workout, get an extra look at them, get a extra chance to meet with them. And so as I know of right now, it doesn't sound like they're going to get that opportunity.
A couple of days ago on your Twitter feed, you had, if you were in charge of the draft board, Cowboys, Kyle Pitts, Penny Sewell, Rashawn Slater, both offensive linemen, Patrick Surtain, the corner, and Micah Parsons. If those five were available, they won't be, but if all five were available at number 10, I know what they need, John, but Jerry loves toys. He loves toys. Can he walk away from Kyle Pitts?
I don't think so. And I don't think I would either. I really think that he makes a lot of sense there. And I know a lot of people would be rolling their eyes if that happened, because of the fact that they just took CeeDee Lamb, they have Amari Cooper, they have Michael Gallup. Dalton Schultz played great replacing Blake Jarwin after he got hurt. It's like, how many weapons do you need? I just would take Pitts because I just think he would make so much bigger of an impact than any other player you're going to probably get there out of that group. Now, I don't know that the Cowboys 100% would do that. I think Pitts would certainly be in the mix. If all those players were there, I'm kind of leaning they would take the offensive tackle. And that's just because, you look at what happened this past year, when you lose those offensive tackles, it's just so tough to overcome. And the other thing is, too, is I looked this up earlier in the week, like, if you go on any of these websites that, Spot Rack or Spotrac, whatever you want to call it, or Over the Cap, like when you look at the offensive tackles in the NFL, the highest paid offensive tackles, if you look at like the top 20, 25, like other than maybe 5 or 6, all of them are first round picks. Like if you want to get a good offensive tackle, that's going to be your offensive tackle, like a Tyron Smith for a decade plus, you're not finding diamonds in the rough. The only one that's really even in there is David Bakhtiari from Green Bay. Other than that, all these guys are first round, and most that aren't are early in the second. Like if you want to find that heir apparent to Tyron Smith, you're probably going to have to do it early in the draft. And if Rashawn Slater or Penei Sewell were there, I think that they would be very interested in that. So I personally would like Kyle Pitts, and I understand people would be like, well, that doesn't help your defense, but I just think that he makes the biggest impact. And the other part too with Kyle Pitts is, let's not forget that Michael Gallup is only under contract for this is his final season. There's a good chance he doesn't come back. Amari Cooper, the way his contract structured, they could get out of that in a year if let's say he got hurt or wasn't playing well. And let's be honest, this is a league that wants to spread guys out and beat you with the passing game. And Kyle Pitts certainly helps you do that, because there's not many guys in the NFL, if any, that can defend him.
John, do you think Kyle Pitts would reasonably be there at 10, though?
I don't. The only way that here's the biggest thing I'm skeptical about in these 9 picks that happened for the Cowboys. I'm skeptical that all 3 wide receivers go. I don't think that all of them are going to go. We saw it last year. Last year we thought for sure you'd see a Jerry Jeudy or a Ruggs, or certainly CeeDee Lamb would go in the top 10, and none of them did. And so, you got this year, you got Jalen Waddle, and you got, Devontae Smith and Jamar Chase. And it's like, all these mock drafts have them all going before the Cowboys get on the clock. And I'll believe that when I see it. I think there's a better chance both those offensive tackles are gone. I mean, that's a position that's valued very highly in the NFL. And those two are clearly, Slater and Sewell, better than everybody else. So I find it hard to believe that Kyle Pitts is going to slide all the way to 10, because after those 4 quarterbacks go, then you throw in maybe a wide receiver or 2 that gets you at 6. You throw in a couple of those offensive tackles, 7, 8. I mean, at the worst, I think Pitts doesn't make it till 9. And to be honest with you, I feel like even if he made it to 7 or 8, you'd see a team trade up to try and get him, because that's the way the NFL is. Like it's so hard to match up with that guy one-on-one. I mean, you can't put a linebacker on him. He's blowing by that guy. You can't put a safety on him. You can do that. It's not going to be great. So you got to put a big corner on him. So how many teams have Jalen Ramsey? How many teams have a big corner like that that also can stay with a mismatched player like Kyle Pitts, who can just carry you up in the middle of the field, and you can also keep him on the field if you want to go with 2 tight ends and run the ball. So I just think he's a huge mismatched player, and if he goes to the right team that uses him the right way, I mean, he's a Pro Bowl player.
All right, John, thank you very much. John Machota, theathletic.com with us today. Thanks for being patient with us the last couple of weeks with all the things we have moving with Baylor and in, of course, the NCAA tournament. John Machota on Twitter at JONMACHOTA, theathletic.com. When we come back, well, he's the one that started this Drew coaching tree, right? He was the coach for a long time. And then, of course, magic at Valpo with Bryce hitting the shot. Scott Drew was an assistant. He's working on plans to try to get to Indianapolis with he and his wife, and they're just such a great story. And Homer Drew is next on SicEm365 Radio. Alan Samuels, Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, Ram, Fiat. It's always something that they have new. Always something new that they want to promote. And, of course, now we have started. Yep, now we have started yet another month. And so what does Alan Samuels have available? Well, let me tell you what that might be, including the Ram 3-peat Motor Trend Truck of the Year, back-to-back safety pick, top safety pick for trucks named in 2021. How about the 2021 Ram, the new 1500 Crew Cab Lone Star with values of $5,500 or 0% financing for 84 months. Remember, this is the championship drive, started in March, trying to get through the weekend, see if Baylor can get to Monday, and Alan Samuels is having their championship event going on as well. Jeep, the most decorated of the SUVs available, built tough 2021 Jeep Renegade Latitude, $5,250 in value, 0% for 84 months, one of those two. 2021 Jeep Cherokee Latitude plus $5,000. Total values are 0% for 84 months. How about the 2021 Jeep Grand Cherokee, the Laredo, $3,750 in total values or 0% for 72 months. And Chrysler, the Pacifica Hybrid Limited total values of $7,000. That's the new 2021 Chrysler Pacifica Hybrid, up to $7,000 in values or 0% for 84 months. Championship drive. You have the Ram, the Jeep, the Chrysler, and more. Alan Samuels, Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, Ram, Fiat, Loop 340 at east of 84 in Waco.
University students can shine in their own way, or should we say their own ways, because there's no limit to the ways Baylor students make the world a brighter place. Whether they're leading a student organization or following a higher calling, getting advice from faculty, or taking part in world-class research, pursuing their dreams, or working toward their dream job, students find their place to shine at Baylor, where lights shine bright.
Waco Regional Tennis and Fitness was built to help give you a chance to enjoy elite tennis facilities and also remain fit or reshape your body. Now Waco Regional Tennis and Fitness has gone through its own physical changes. There are 7 large flat screens stretched across the main and improved weight room with Wi-Fi available and their own app to enjoy news, business, weather, or sports channels. The beautiful sound of active treadmills and elliptical machines, group exercise classes throughout each day, a new ballet bar for bar classes, a new look lounge and bar with beer and wine with more large flat screens available. Touchless water fountains outside each spacious men's and women's locker rooms, showers, sauna, and whirlpool. Upgraded PA system throughout the world-class tennis courts and lessons for adults and juniors. I promise you'll look and feel better. You just need to walk through the front door. Also, Waco Regional Tennis and Fitness with personal trainers Christy London and Randall Corley. 40-plus group exercise classes, including twice-a-week boot camp. So start today, not tomorrow, at Waco Regional Tennis and Fitness on Lakeshore Drive in Waco.
Riverbend Liquor and Wine has their easy-to-access drive-thru open and convenient and clean in-store location on the corner of Lakeshore Drive and North 19th Street in Waco. Riverbend Liquor has the best and most extensive variety of craft beer selections in Waco, and Balcones whiskey, including single malt, pot still, baby blue, rye, brimstone, and the all-new lineage in stock. Riverbend Liquor and Wine, family-owned and operated, and a hidden gem in Waco on Lakeshore Drive and 19th Street. And find out more on Facebook and Instagram.
Let Camille Johnson Realtors guide you seamlessly through the process of buying your dream home or selling your current one. Commercial, farm and ranch, or residential, Camille Johnson Realtors can smoothly and successfully lead you through any transaction. With a team of 28 experienced agents who are excited about serving you, Camille Johnson Realtors services the entire greater Waco area. If you're in the market to buy or sell, contact Camille Johnson Realtors, 104 Midway Center in Woodway, or find them online at www.camillejohnson.com. Camille Johnson Realtors, elegant, charming, warm. Welcome home.
to know why Stonewood Dental is so successful? Listen to what happy customers have to say.
Pleasant. It's different than any other dentist office. I really feel like they care. And it's not that you're here for 2 hours waiting on someone to take care of you. It's quick and easy, and I bring my kids, and my kids love being here too. They really love the treasure box. Staff is really nice and accommodating, real friendly. You feel more like home. It's not sterile looking. Everybody has their own personalized rooms with decorations and decor, and they'll even have a blanket for you when it's cold. I've recommended people to actually come here, and they are patients now. I really love it here. It feels like family.
Learn more, stonewood-dental.com.
And it's been a long time coming. The Baylor Bears are back in the Final Four for the first time in 71 years.
Welcome back to SicEm365 Radio.
Up top here is Heidel. Oh, the catch and the finish. Nice rim run on the baseline for big Mark Heidel.
Our coverage of the NCAA tourney in Indianapolis is brought to you by IdealMRI.com, Southwest Sports Medicine and Orthopedics, Allen Samuels Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram Fiat, Marco's Pizza, U.S. Army Waco Recruiting Company, American Bank, Willis Law Firm, Chapman's Bail Bonds, Richard Carr Buick GMC Cadillac, First National Bank of Central Texas, the Nichi Group, and Pickup Outfitters.
Flagler reaching in with the steal, and now Mitchell gets around Moody. Meyer can throw it. He does. Off the bench, Matthew Meyer with the three.
The 5 o'clock hour is sponsored by Edward Jones Investments with financial advisor Tom Albers, staying in touch with you and your money through these difficult and changing times. Edward Jones, making sense of investing.
Big what a night. What a night for him.
Now we go live to coverage of the NCAA men's tournament in Indianapolis. Here's David Smoak, Paul Catalina, and Craig Smoak.
Basketball Hall of Fame coach and person, Homer Drew, Scott Drew's father, with us, and Bryce, of course, as well on SicEm365 Radio. David Smoak and Paul Catalina. Homer, you've watched this methodical climb to where Baylor is today. What do you think Monday meant to those who know Scott, family, friends, even to Scott getting to the Final Four?
It's been one of his dreams ever since he got into coaching, and especially moving to Baylor 18 years ago, to have an opportunity to get to the Final Four. So as a father, it has been wonderful to watch him go through adversity at the beginning and to see him grow and develop, and then to be able to put a staff together. It's amazing. Like, Tang has been with him for all 18 years. That's an incredible friendship and togetherness to grow upon. And then, of course, Paul Mills being with him and leading ORU to the tournament this year. And then Grant with North Texas State getting to the tournament this year. So Scott has done it with some really good assistant coaches. But as you both know, Paul and David, that it takes players. And so they've been really blessed with recruiting some very good players. So to answer your question, to see this grow for the 18 years, very proud of his perseverance, determination, and finally getting to see his dream accomplished, and they are in the Final Four.
From someone who, saw him when he was an assistant coach and first as a head coach and knows every beat of his coaching career, how much has he grown as a coach in every aspect from 18 years ago to now?
Just the experience, I think, of having done it year after year. He is also, Scott is very, very good about asking questions. And he will ask his peer coaches, questions about how do you handle this situation? If someone's pressing, what do you like to do? So he is always looking to learn something new and different. And I think that has really helped him grow and mature, as we all do in the job. Think back when you two first started out to today, how much easier it is, and flow and questions to ask and timing of in and out with commercials and whatever. So that experience just adds in any job that a person does. So just that growth and maturity. And I think you can look in basketball. Well, you two might remember when he first came. I mean, he had to go over to the physical education building and watch him play basketball and get some walk-ons just to complete a team because of the penalties the NCAA put him on with number of scholarships, who they could play, and that at the beginning. So he persevered through some difficult times. From there, then you remember he had big lineups and would go with that 1-1-3 zone. Then they formed into where you have 4 or 5 guards on the floor. And then, of course, this year, which is, they're so much fun to watch, as you two know. I mean, on defense, how they cover for one another, the ball pressure that Davion sets the tone with. And then on offense, it's not about David scoring, Paul scoring, Homer scoring. It's what's best for the scoring for our team. And if I have an open teammate, I'm going to get him the basketball. So it's really been a delight and fun to watch all of this take place the last 18 years.
I don't know if you have heard this, but every single person that has been a part of that program since his first year, players, walk-on, coaches, others, have received a T-shirt that had the Big 12 championship on their chest, but also on the back, family with everybody's name. That's tedious, and yet that's so Scott Drew. Does that surprise you at all that he would keep track of every basically person who's touched that program?
Not at all. That is Scott, and it's wonderful. It's after they first won the first 2 opening rounds, he had over like 500 emails, and he stayed up till 3:30 in the morning answering all of the emails. And so that's Scott. He serves others. He wants to help others. In the midst of all that was going on, he helped a friend of both Scott and myself get an interview on a job. I mean, he took time out to make a phone call to help a former friend. I mean, I admire him far more as a person than as a coach. So it does not surprise me with the T-shirts, because all of them played a part in getting to this occasion of Final Four. And it's nice to include, quote, the family that has helped accomplish that.
Hall of Fame coach with us on SicEm365 Radio. You mentioned this has been a dream of his. What's it like to watch? And I know Bryce has had his moments, not only just the shot, the player, but what he's done at Grand Canyon this year. What's it like as a father to watch your son or daughter or someone that is a part of the family have this kind of success?
Oh, well, it's memorable moments for sure, and just proud of the work and the time.
Hey, Coach, we've got an interview going right now, and then we'll come to you in like 4 or 5 minutes. Okay.
Do you want me to just call back in 5 minutes?
Yeah, that'd be great.
So 6:18, is that the time?
Yes. Yeah.
I'll give it 6:18. You'll hear from me. Thank you.
All right. Thanks, Coach.
doesn't have that ability to live to those expectations. So to sustain the success, and that's what Scott has been able to do at Baylor over a period of time now. And that is very, very difficult. The second part is that, yes, it's easier to kind of identify the character and the type of person that you want just because of doing it year after year after year. You get a little bit better at judgment, and you get a little bit better at what fits into your school and into your program.
Coach Drew, the fact that this tournament is right in your Scott's backyard. He was able to actually have those games at Hinkle Fieldhouse where he went to college. And then to have this in Indianapolis, does that make it even more special? It could be special if it was in Orlando or in, who knows, Los Angeles or anywhere. But because of where they are, does it make this even more special for him?
I think it does, and I think it does for the whole family because we live major part of our life in Indiana, and the kids, our three kids grew up in Indiana. So very special. And a lot of Scott's college friends at Butler, a lot of his friends from Valparaiso, have journeyed, found tickets, have found a way to get in to watch. And if it wasn't for the darn bubble that they're in, that there would be a lot of celebrating and partying out with his friends. But it's wonderful to be in the Final Four, but to be with and surrounded with many of your friends from the past, it does put a little extra special time. And to win, and very nicely worded, half of those games, 2 out of those 4 wins, they played at Hinkle, which brings back a lot of wonderful memories for all of us.
Hey, what do you think about having the whole, I mean, it's obviously not going to stay this way, and hopefully it doesn't, because that means we'll be out of COVID, but having a whole chunk of the tournament in Indiana, in Indianapolis, where basketball is such a big deal, and you've been a big part of that. What did you think about at least that part of it, being able to celebrate basketball in a place that basketball is king?
One of the best decisions that the NCAA made was putting this bubble around Indianapolis, just for what you said, the history of the state of Indiana, basketball, back to the Hoosiers, the Hinkle Fieldhouse and the tradition there, to be able to put and run this in so effectively. So we had it. Number one, it was wonderful to be able to have the NCAA tournament this year, whereas last year we did not have any of it. So one, to have it, and then two, the decision to make Indianapolis the hub was a wonderful decision, and hopefully that these last 4 teams now will be able to play and not have any other problems health-wise to enter into the picture. But a very, very good decision.
All right, Homer Drew with us. And Coach, what is it like on the night before, whatever that biggest game might be, whether it's for a conference tournament, for a chance to get to the NCAA tournament, for a chance to get to the Final Four, for a chance to play for the national championship game, any of those moments, a state championship in high school. What is it like as a coach the night before a game? Is everybody different?
Everyone is different. Most of us very anxious, very excited, and so sleep does not come real quick to that. But it's a wonderful anxiety, and when you wake up, even if you didn't have a full night's sleep, just the excitement and that adrenaline in our body takes over for the excitement of the occasion.
Are you going to be able to make it?
We're working on plans right now, yes.
Okay, well, we'll let you do that. Hey,
thank you.
Homer, great. Your story, you and your wife, and the story of what you guys have battled through, what you've done with Bryce and Scott and family, with how you've had an impact on basketball, but much, much more than that. It's a thrill to have you on the show. Good luck tomorrow with Scott and Baylor, and thank you for your time.
Well, my pleasure to be both you together. So thank you for including me. Blessings, and cheer on those Bears.
That's Hall of Fame basketball coach Scott Drew's father, Homer Drew, SicEm365 Radio.
All right, that's Homer Drew. Appreciate his time as always. That was great to have him, and I'm sure he is pumped up. Yeah, he started the coaching Drew family coaching tree. Excuse me. All right, from his energy, and what would a week of the NCAA tournament be without? Yes, the lucky charm. Hartford head basketball coach John Gallagher joins us all on SicEm365 Radio. Man, everybody was just banging up my phone, direct messages. When is Coach Gallagher coming on? You did it again last week, man.
I got a good feeling for us this weekend, fellas. I got a good feeling. So here's the deal. If we get it done Saturday, I guess I got to come back Monday before the game.
See, you keep putting yourself. That's perfect. If you're ready, hey, if they're here Monday, I'll be here.
It's the Irish charm, you know what I mean? I'm from a place outside of Philly called Delco. Now you're not going to believe this. So it's Delaware County. It's Delco. Kate Winslet, the actress, did a part about Delaware County, and she talked about the pronunciation, how you pronunciate it. So I've gotten killed by my coaching friends by how I pronounce Baylor. So you need to help me how I pronounce my pronunciation. Water. I say water, not with a D. It's water. Okay. And I'll send you the clip from Kate Winslet. But I have a good feeling this weekend for the Bears.
Okay, we'll do that right now. What is the city that Aaron Rodgers plays in?
Green Bay.
Green Bay. There you go. That's the first.
Bay.
And then Baylor.
Baylor.
There you go.
You have to say it slowly, Coach.
So one of my best buddies is Steve Dunny, who's the head coach at Penn. He was at BC. He was at Cornell. He has a line about where I'm from. In every corner, there's a bar, and every corner, there's a bookie. There's a bartender and a bookie on every corner.
I love it. All right, Craig, anything for Coach Gallagher to get us going as well?
Craig, you're muted. Yeah. Coach, Houston rebounds like crazy. What has Kelvin Sampson done there and in building that program and getting him to play that style?
So if you study him, and I've studied him, he's a friend. He gave me the best line of all time one time when we were struggling 5 years ago. I'm at the, in North Texas campus. We're watching a game together at the Texas Shootout. He said to me, John, coaches make good teams. Administrators make championship teams. And, he gave me this great philosophy. So his structure of how he runs his program and how everything's about defending and rebounding. And if you watch the Rutgers game, they should have lost that game. Okay. And when you go on a good run in this tournament, there's always one game that you maybe shouldn't have won and you won, and he's on a roll. The key to the game, mark it down, is turnovers. If, Villanova in that stretch could not handle Baylor. Did I say it right again? Baylor's.
Yeah.
I butchered it again. But Baylor, the pressure of live ball turnovers, if the game can get up and down, I think it's going to be a good night for the Bears.
Coach, what have you made of the job that Kelvin Sampson has done there at U of H?
The job he's done is just, go look at what they've done. From a facility standpoint, basketball facility, he's just the profile of the job. It's hard to believe. It's not a top 25 job. It's a top 15 job. And he's done it out of the American Conference. And he recruits, and his son and him have done a great, great job.
Coach, did you know the tie-in to Kelvin Sampson that Mack Rhodes, the AD at Baylor, hired him at Houston when he was there?
No, I'm from the Northeast.
I know, but that how unique is that? Is it because Mack Rhodes gave him the opportunity after he was at Oklahoma to come to Houston, and here he is, the AD at Baylor, and he has great respect for Kelvin Sampson as well.
Well, I think if you watch, Coach Sampson, the way they defend and even their offensive sets are very crisp. He just has a plan. And by the way, shout out to my best friend Porter Moser, head coach at Oklahoma.
Yeah,
I just was texting with him. So you got one of my best friends in the Big 12 now.
Yeah, they have like 3 kids in the portal as of like this week after Coach Kruger left. Coach, if I'm them, I'm taking my name out and going to play for Porter Moser.
You know what? He's not going to have a problem getting guys to play for him if you know him. It's a home run hire. He's an energetic guy. He might be a little more energy than me, but
I don't believe it.
He's. You should have seen us. We were in Greece recruiting one time. I thought we were at the World Championships. We probably laughed for 5 straight days together in 2014. But he's gonna really bring a lot of energy to the program. He's gonna bring a lot of detail. I don't think they're gonna skip a beat. Coach Kruger was an elite coach and elite program. I don't think they skip a beat with him.
Well, since we're talking coaching changes, before we get back to the game, your thoughts on Chris Beard to Texas?
Woo! I was shocked because I thought, Chris really did a good job selling Texas Tech, but I guess, it's just the Austin, the allure, and I was shocked. I must say that. I know Chris a little bit. My old assistant was Chris's roommate when he was a Division III coach. So I think if you look at it, Chris they're going to play hard. They're going to rebound. They're going to do all the little things. But, I'm interested to see when you go in conference, like, how the speeches aren't the same, in my opinion.
You are obviously trying to find players. I know you can't talk about specifics. You talked about this last week. I want to give you a chance to discuss Hartford as well. What is it like right now with you trying to get, I think you mentioned a couple of guys that take you to that next level with so many players coming back?
Yeah, we got one commitment. It's online. I can't mention his name, but
sure,
it's online. It was a big time get for us when we, I think he's a player of the year type, and we're trying to close in on this. I'm going to get off the phone with you guys and call the kid. But look, for our level, if you can continue the momentum, we will probably be favored or pick 2 in our league next year. So you got to keep on reloading. You cannot, be happy. And you got to, you have to have a chip on your shoulder. You got to try to continue the fire, and you got to continue to heat the house. So, the recruiting is a never ending battle. And, it'll be, for all of us, this transfer portal, I'll be honest, it's new to all of us and it's crazy.
Is it easier when you get that TV time like you have in the conference tournament and then into the NCAA tournament? Is it a lot easier to get them to call you back when they're like, "Oh yeah, I saw you play"?
The whole neighborhood thing. We have the hashtag called the neighborhood, and that's taken off. Families love that. This has been the easiest I've ever recruited. When I used to do it, you want a quick secret? You guys want to laugh a little bit? I used to say Hartford, and the parents would say, "Did he say Harvard?" so early in my days, they say Hartford, quick. But it ended up, now we say Hartford loud and proud, and the whole city is as excited, because the Whalers left in '96, and now we got the whole city behind us, and season tickets are off the charts, and it's exploded. It's amazing. Everyone thinks it happened overnight. It took me 10 years to get this thing going.
Coach, we were talking a bit earlier about just nerves and what the players and coaches must be thinking right now. What do you think the feeling is like? I mean, for you, the night before a big game, what are you do you get a few hours of sleep? Are you a non-sleeper? Kind of what's your MO when it comes to the anxiety leading into a big game?
After the last film session, you shut it down. I don't open because you've watched so much film all week and you've chewed on Houston and you got everything, the baseline out of bounds, and you probably are looking at your ATOs, your out of timeout situations, and you're looking at the last 4 minutes of the games. Who is Davion Mitchell going to come off this way? Are we going to go small or big? In your mind, you're putting different situations in. If we get in foul trouble, we got to do this. You're just playing it in your mind. And then you're in bed and you probably are tossing and turning a little bit, and then up you go, and it's time to get the game on.
You mentioned you think it might be a pretty good weekend. Baylor obviously has to play well and play well against Houston and elsewhere, but I know you got to get a hold of somebody. What would it mean that if you do lose, you've lost to a team that's in the Final Four? Does that even spice up your resume even more, the more and deeper they go in this tournament?
Absolutely. I'm rooting for them. I'm going to go out tomorrow to Dick's Sporting Goods and buy a Baylor t-shirt. Okay. I want them to win it all, even though Mark Few is one of my buddies. And, when we were struggling 4 years ago, he was texting me trying to pump us up. So I love Fewy, and I would love to see Gonzaga win. But at the end of the day, I love to see Baylor Gonzaga just for the game of basketball.
Hey, Coach, thank you, man. We appreciate it. You didn't have to give us as much time as you have, and I hope you might have an extra 10 or 15 minutes Monday. That means things are pretty good. Good luck with what you're doing right now. Love having you on the show.
I can't wait to see you Monday, and let's go Bears.
There you go. Man, I love having John Gallagher on the show. Hartford basketball coach. He has been an incredible treat to have, and he is demanded by our audience. Hey, you have to call him. You have to call him. I mean, I have from every direction, direct message, Twitter, on the boards. You got to have him. And it's great. We appreciate Sarah Bessonnet. She also sets it up for us from Hartford.
We'll get him and Seth Greenberg together on a pronunciation call.
Baylor, yeah.
He's trying. I think I'm just going to start calling him that too, and just make it the new thing now. It's be the Baylor Bears.
It's when depends on where you're from, of course.
Yeah.
It also depends how fast you talk. I talk fast, but it's Baylor. But there are some when you have a little bit of an accent along with the regionality, and you talk fast or slow, it can change things up quite a bit.
I was in Philly. Oh my gosh, it's been 18 years ago doing stand-up. And I remember going into a place and they're do you want a hoagie? And I was like, a hoagie?
What?
And they're like, you mean a hoagie? No, hoagies. They have good ones at the Wawas. It's like, okay, all right. I'm in a different land here.
Yeah, okay. When we come back, yesterday, again, Baylor football media session. Craig, we had a chance. We're going to hear from Sean Bell. And we'll hear from maybe it's going to be Gary Bohannon. He was there, a part of all of it. Jacob Zeno, Blake Shape, and obviously Kyron Drones and much more. This is SicEm365 Radio.
With so many companies and policies out there, it gets so confusing shopping for insurance, and I never know if I'm getting the policy that's right for me. Luckily, I met the team at the Niche Group Insurance Agency. With the Niche Group, you can go to one company and get access to coverage options from many insurance carriers, and you get to speak to a real person about your specific coverage needs. With the Niche Group, I know I'm getting the right coverage at the right price. If you need insurance, talk to the experts at the Niche Group at 1-800-258-8302.
Stepping into a new pair of boots is great, but stepping into the boots of a U.S. Army officer can also add confidence and leadership skills to your son or daughter's career path. There are more than 150 occupational specialties to help them find the best fit for their future. See all the things your son or daughter can achieve in our boots at GoArmy.com. U.S. Army Waco Recruiting Company, 254-598-8131 or 254-776-1543.
At
Ideal MRI, we feel blessed to be part of the Waco community. We're a small family business here in Central Texas. At times like this, the cost of healthcare has never been more important. And unfortunately, significant illnesses and injuries still occur. And that's why Ideal MRI is open and here to serve you through this difficult time. So if you need an MRI, ask your doctor about Ideal MRI. You can schedule online in minutes at idealmri.com or call 833-IDEAL-MRI.
One size fits all. That may be all right for an adjustable belt or cheap sunglasses, but when it comes to your financials, no one wants a one-size-fits-all strategy. Ben Erlinson, your Edward Jones financial advisor, knows that his most important goals are yours. That's why he takes the time to understand your needs, knowing you. That's how Edward Jones makes sense of investing. Ben Erlinson, 100 North 6th Street in Waco, 254-759-8533. Edward Jones, member SIPC.
Ram Truck Month means special pricing on new Ram trucks at Allen Samuels. The three-peat Motor Trend Truck of the Year, Ram 1500 Lone Star Crew Cab, has special values up to $7,250 or 0% for 72 months, plus $3,000 in combo cash. Visit the customer award-winning Allen Samuels, located at 201 West Loop 340 in Waco, for the three-time Motor Trend Truck of the Year, Ram 1500 Lone Star Crew Cab. Ram Truck Month is going on now at Allen Samuels, your friend in the car business. See dealer for details. All offers have credit requirements.
Y'all listen up. Let me tell you something about group meals from Rudy's Barbecue. It's got all you need for all the folks you gotta feed, smoked meat, sides, and more. There's everything down to the tablecloth, just like the one that you see at the store. At a bridal shower, it's better than flowers. And a long distance meeting, it'll pass the hours. It'll feed all the cousins at a family function. It's better than potluck at a church luncheon. Next time you need to feed 10 or more, call and order a Rudy's group meal. Thanks a lot.
Did you know that 1 out of every 4 men have symptomatic low levels of testosterone and don't even know it? And if you think you're too young to worry about it, guess again. Low T levels can make you feel tired and grumpy, cause weight gain, and wreak havoc on your sexual desire and performance. Petty Clinic Low T can set up same-day blood screening and results, so if you're tired of being tired, I challenge you to man up and Google search Low T Waco or go online, pettycliniclowt.com. It's a private clinic with an atmosphere catering to men. Affordable, only $150 a month, includes lab work, office consultation, testosterone injections, follow-up visits compared to $395 a month in Dallas or Austin, and you don't have to fight the traffic. Petty Clinic Low T as board-certified physician consultations will provide the best form of brand-strength testosterone available. Contact Petty Clinic Low T today, just off Highway 84 and Old Hewitt Drive in Woodway. Petty Clinic Low T, helping men become the high-performance men they deserve to be. PettyClinicLowT.com or Google search Low T Waco.
Welcome back to SicEm365 Radio.
The Sic'em365 Radio app is sponsored by Allen Samuels Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram Fiat in Waco, your friend in the car business at Loop 340 and east of 84. Come by. Let's be friends.
By the way, one note, Academic All-Stars, we enter our 11th year. All the nominations, the deadline was on, the 31st earlier this week on Wednesday. When I get back and I get a chance to go through a lot of that, we'll start to go through nominations, announce the team in early May. Our banquet, May the 19th at the Texas Sports Hall of Fame. All right. Craig, you have been like almost effusive in the Paul Wright word, right?
Sure. Yes.
When it comes to Sean Bell. How much do you think Sean Bell's presence is helping right now just because of how positive he is and also the fact he's respected, he played the game?
Well, I think you should respect your coaches, and if you don't, then there's a problem there. I would hope that those players respect him the same way they respect all the rest of the guys. His presence helps. He's a good young coach. Any program will be lucky to have Sean Bell in their program, and the fact that he's an alum just makes it, I think, mean more for him personally. He's clearly a guy that's not only trying to make his players better, but he's also trying to continue to improve himself. He's not a finished product by any means, and he said as much yesterday. So I think, these players and coaches feed off of each other, and in the case of Sean Bell, his guys know that he's been in their shoes. He's not just, talking out the side of his mouth. He's been in he's been the Baylor quarterback. He's done that. So he can put himself literally in their shoes and give them a look at what it's like in a different viewpoint than, maybe previous coaches could. So Yeah, he's very well respected. The energy seems to be good, and just all around, it's been very positive. And I don't think it's like, last year where guys got on and they talked about, oh yeah, the new coaches are great, or the strength and conditioning is great, or whatever. They were clearly going through the motions in a lot of what they were saying. I don't get that sense at all this time around. I think it's all very genuine, very legitimate, and I think there's really good chemistry happening right now, including at the quarterback position.
Well, and the quarterback coach, and Sean Bell, who played that position at Baylor, he's been right up the ladder as far as coaching, tight ends, offensive line. Now, quarterback spoke with the media on Thursday.
Coach, I guess, first season, first spring, coaching the quarterbacks, what's that transition been like for you?
Well, it's been great. It's something that it's always been a goal of mine is to be a quarterback coach. And I think in everybody's career, excited when you reach those opportunities, but it just makes me hungry because I want to make sure that I'm doing the best job I can for this program, for Baylor University, and giving those guys everything I have every day. And so, when the opportunity arose, extremely excited, but really, really, really hungry for the opportunity to mold those guys into the best quarterbacks they can be.
Joey said he's never seen you so happy. Has it been that way though? I mean, have you been smiling a lot?
I'd like to think so.
Yeah.
I think everything prepares you for the next opportunity, and to be an offensive line coach and an opportunity to coach the tight ends, I think prepared me to be a better quarterback coach, and hopefully, just the overall coach in general. But I think he's right when he says that I feel at home and comfortable and just excited because of the legacy that it comes. I think I take a lot of pride in this university. I take a lot of pride in that position, and then obviously I want to be a successful coach around in this program. So.
In the last several years, Charlie's kind of been the guy coming in, a little bit more of a blank slate, some open competition. What is that like, kind of having a blank slate, blank canvas to work with?
It's been refreshing. I think they feel it. I think the team feels it. I think the coaching staff feels it. I think everybody feels it. And, the only way I know how to do it is to give it a true competition. So every single rep, everything we do in the off season, everything we do in the weight room, everything we do from throwing the ball to handing off the ball, everything's a competition. That's the only way to do it. And I think that they feel that. And I think that excites them. And all it's doing is making each other better. We talk about having a growth mindset. Every day we come out here, every rep we have a chance to grow. And that competition is helping with that growth.
Really about the differences from when you played to now at the university?
Oh, there's a lot of differences. It's funny, I tell people all the time when I came back, the first opportunity, to walk through the facilities, to walk across the McLean Stadium, it didn't feel like the place that I played at, and to be part of, a program that, had established itself, Big 12 championships and things like that, it felt different. And it's so exciting because it's just a testament to Baylor University, our administration, Mac Rhodes, the things that he's done for this program, and really who we are. It's something to take a lot of pride in. And I know as a Baylor alum, along with being a football coach here, it really means a lot to me to have unbelievable facilities, unbelievable resources, and great people to work with every day.
There's been some big change on the offensive staff. Obviously, Jeff Grimes, got Stuckey there. Just what's it been like getting to know these new guys and also learning the new offenses?
I think it all starts with your leader, right? With Coach Grimes on the offensive side, and he's really set an identity for us. And I think that's where it starts. Is we know who we are, and now it's time to meet those goals and reach that identity. And so, at our very first meeting, that's what it was. This is who we are. This is what we're going to be, and let's all work towards that common goal. And the second thing I would say is just the cohesiveness. I feel when we're in that room, all the guys from top to bottom, from Coach Grimes to the lowest guy on the offensive staff, there's a great cohesiveness to where we're all in this thing together. I'm the quarterback coach, but anybody in that room can help me coach the quarterbacks. And that's kind of the challenge we have is as a group, it's our job to have the best offense in the Big 12 and ultimately the country. And as a leader, Coach Grimes has set that standard, and it's something that I try to accomplish every day. And as a unit, we feel that.
Sean, is that style of offense, is that offense something you're familiar with or comfortable with, the wide zone? Or
Yeah, I think so. I think it's something that fits this conference perfectly. College football's changed. The Big 12's changed to where defensively what teams are doing to stop the inside run game, it makes it tough. It's hard to run in between the tackles. So the wide zone opportunity creates opportunities, number one, in the run game. But as a quarterback coach and as a quarterback, more importantly, it creates opportunities in the pass game. And so it all starts with the wide zone. You're exactly right. We've got to be able to set the standard as far as running the football. But then you'll see off the wide zone as we get into the season and fans are seeing us play, you're going to see opportunities to also throw the ball down the field because of that wide zone. So, that's the identity I was just talking about. That's our identity. That's who we are. We have to run the wide zone. And I think it fits this league. It fits our personnel. And it fits who we are as a team.
Not having this time last year, now having this time, how How awesome and important is it?
Well, I think it's huge, you know, and I think the biggest thing you can feel is the confidence, right? The offseason that we just came out of, Vic and his staff were phenomenal. All the hard work and effort and the strength gains, you can just feel a confidence. You can feel a cohesiveness that creates. And so as we hit the field, now it's transferring that cohesiveness, that toughness, that development into the X's and O's and the game of football. And it's already, you know, light years ahead of where it would have been this time last year without a spring. And so you just feel it from a confidence level. You know, they got confidence in who they are as football players because of the development they've had, and then also in the offense because the extra meeting time we're able to have, the extra practices we're able to have, and our kids feel that. And I think that they got a good sense of the direction we're headed.
How unique is the challenge for a guy like Blake Shapen trying to play two sports and being out here with you guys, but also playing baseball?
Yeah, you know, Blake made the decision to focus solely on football right now. And so, you know, that's a decision he and his family came to because I think, you know, I'll let him answer that question. But I think that he felt what I was just saying, the development that we're having as a program, the strength staff, the offensive direction, and he felt like this is something he definitely wanted to be a part of. And it's a commitment that I appreciate. He feels that competition and want to come out here and compete every day. So, you know, it's definitely, you know, exciting for me to have him out here all spring and out here competing.
Coach, when you're kind of watching these guys throw the football and compete out there, what are the main things you're looking for? And what do you need to see from these guys as, you know, spring continues?
I think it all starts with those intangibles of leading the offense. You know, I think it starts with the belief in the system and the belief in the guys behind you that you're the guy. And I think that's where it starts. Is there's got to be a belief and a leadership capability that you can lead this offense. And second, it's about making plays and putting the ball where it's supposed to be. You've got some tremendous weapons on offense. You know, Taekwon, RJ, Ebner, and I can go. The list goes on and on. Ben Sims at the tight end position, to where it's our responsibility to get them the ball and execute the play. And I think that. You know, that's what it's all about, is who can put the ball where it needs to be, who can make the reads, who can get the ball out of their hands when it needs to happen. So it's not just about who can throw it the furthest and who can run it the fastest. It's about who can put us in the right position to be successful. And so I've been really proud with them. I know that all of them from top to bottom have been working extremely hard. They're putting in extra time. They're texting me. They're calling me. It's a 24/7 thing for them. They're not just in the door and out of the door on the time. They're really putting it in. And so I've been really pleased with the progress and their effort to be the best.
Could you give us kind of however long you want, but kind of a summary of each candidate, you know, kind of their couple strengths or what else?
Yeah, I'll start probably by age. You know, I think Gary brings that veteran. He's been here the longest. He's seen, you know, this is his third offense. He's had some tremendous coaches ahead. So he's got a little bit more, I guess, you know, season to him. So he's seen more coverages. He's seen more defenses. He's seen, you know, just has more, I guess, experience than anyone else. I think that doesn't mean that Jacob or Blake or even Kyron or Bass don't. I think that's probably one of the strengths. And the physically strong, powerful athlete can really throw the ball vertically down the field and, you know, can make all the throws you want. Jacob, I think that he same thing. He's a guy that really puts in the time, works extremely hard. Really saw some gains in him in the weight room this offseason. I thought this was a huge offseason for him. Really developed in the weight room, got stronger. And then, like I said, I think that he's also a guy that can make all the throws. And I think that one thing that that impresses me about Jacob is throughout the spring is he's gotten better and better and better each practice, which is encouraging. Blake is the next oldest. I think that, you know, Blake's got that moxie about him. He can make all the throws. He's got a unique ability to throw off platform where his arms don't always have to be in the best place. His feet don't have to be set, that he can make that baseball throw all the time. And so it's pretty fun to watch him spin it sometimes. And, but at the same time, he's got also those intangibles that all the other two have. And, you know, and Kyron, been extremely impressed with him as a freshman. He shows up here. You know, one thing I think that I'll say that, you know, I don't know it's public, he power cleaned 300 pounds the other day, and which is phenomenal as a freshman. And so he's got the physical, you know, the sky's the limit for him physically. And so he's learning the offense and the defense. And I've been really pleased with him and the time he's put in. For him to learn already how hard it is to work and the work that it requires, I've been really pleased with that. And then last but not least, definitely Brandon Bass. And he has a huge role on our team. He's been a tremendous leader. He has the answer to every question. He's a great teammate and a guy that really kind of sets the standard for who we are as a program. And so all those guys, and I tell you, you know, there's no leader in the clubhouse right now. It's a competition every day. And, you know, we come out of practice today, somebody was better than the next, and then tomorrow it may be different. And so I think that's the only way to go through spring. And that's the only way to really, for them to, if I want the best quarterback, that's the way we got to approach it, because they're only going to get better every day.
How do you feel like they're responding to that competition?
Great. You know, and that's why I actually had a conversation with that in the offensive staff today. about how proud I am of it being a team atmosphere. You know, so many times it's about me, but all 5 guys in that room, it's about us. You know, I think probably one of the coolest things I've seen was Blake threw a post the other day in practice. Taekwon went up over somebody, and the first person down the field was Gary Bohannon to celebrate, you know, and most quarterbacks, most selfish people, you know, man, I wish I'd have got that throw. I wish I'd have got that rep. Instead, Blake makes the throw. Gary's the first one down there, and we make sure we pointed that out to the team because that's not who everybody is. But I'll stand and, you know, every practice I stand there, good balls thrown. There's 4 quarterbacks behind me every time saying, good ball, great throw, you know, and so you feel that. And I think that competition, I think we brought it up earlier, that clean slate, that freshness of opportunity brings out the best in them because they know that they're making each other better every day.
Is it important at this stage to maybe have someone that's a leader at the clubhouse coming out of the spring, or is this a competition that you want to pull all the way through to the fall?
I think there's no timetable to it. You know, Coach Aranda, Coach Grimes, and myself sat down. We've had multiple conversations about exactly that. And if we feel like there's a time that we know who the leader is going to be, who the general is going to be, and we'll make that decision so we can kind of have that leader of the offense and that face of the program. But ultimately, it's about getting better every day. And I would say, you know, every spring, that's what it's about. I remember when I was a quarterback, I was a starter coming out of fall, but in spring, I felt that competition, and I wanted that competition, and our guys want that competition because it's just going to make them better.
All right, that's Sean Bell, the quarterback's coach at Baylor. You heard the story about what Gary Bohannon did during a drill. He brought that up, Craig did, in that great summary in the premium section. Gary Bohannon, all the quarterbacks had a chance to talk, and here's Gary Bohannon.
It was just the excitement level, you know, going into the spring, knowing that it's kind of wide open. What was that like? Just the feeling going into the spring.
I would say I was excited just to know that I could come in and be at a high level and come out and show what I can do. Also just to get in the room with those guys, we all know that we're gonna push each other to be better. So we're gonna bring the best out of each other. So that was more exciting than anything.
What do you think you've learned most about the last several years sitting behind Charlie and then playing in spot duty? What are those things that you learned from those game reps that you can take into this competition?
Preparation. I say it's always best to make sure you're prepared, whether you know you're playing or you're not playing. You always want to make sure that you're prepared like you would have started all the time. And then just try to see how he handled the game situations and how come he always say he never got over-rattled or anything, just to always try to stay calm.
What are you thinking about the new wide zone? Has it been a big adjustment? Do you fit right into it? How does it feel?
I'm gonna say the wide zone, it has been a big adjustment, but it's been good, like a good adjustment. So I would say I can see how it relates to the pass game, how every run, like the purpose of it, and it's also fun to watch. Being a quarterback, handing it off, and seeing how everything develops, it makes a lot of sense, and I really like it. I like it a lot.
How was Sean Bell as a quarterback's coach?
Coach Bell, he's a really good coach. Like every day he's pushing everybody to be the best. He's always on top of us, the smallest things he pay attention to. He want to be great. Like he don't only want us to be great, he want to be great himself. He care about our success as an individual and as a player.
I know you've known Sean for a little while. Also ask you about Coach Grimes and just getting to know him and having a new face here. What's that been like?
Oh, that's been great too. Coach Grimes just brings a different kind of energy. Like when Coach Grimes walk in the room, you feel it. You feel his presence. Like Coach Grimes there, everybody locked in. This is Coach Grimes' show right now.
Does it help having Coach Bell, who played the position at this school? Does it help with you guys to kind of see where he's come from and where he is now?
It does, because he has an understanding for the position. He doesn't always just get up there drawing on the board. Like he puts himself in our shoes and coaches us that way. So he make it a realistic rep and not always just board or film talk. Like he's gonna get out there and show us to the best of his abilities, and he also gonna coach us up with every single detail, even from when he played up until now.
What's the strength and conditioning been like for you this off season, and also were there?
It was just the excitement level, going into the spring, knowing that it's kind of wide open. What was that?
Hey, something happened here, guys.
What do you mean?
Flipped out on me. Let me see if I can pull it up in the middle. Can you talk for a second? Oh, here.
Yeah. Okay. Paul's trying to work on a technical glitch in the middle of that Gary Bohannon interview or a media session after practices yesterday against, it was Zeno, Chapin, also Bohannon and Kyron Drones. So the audio glitch in some particular way. That women's Final Four, the semifinal game is underway.
Back and forth, a game of runs, 4 minutes left first quarter. Stanford 24 and South Carolina 22. UConn and Arizona will play in the game a little bit later on. I want to give this Matt Norlander, who writes for CBS Sports, did a story, a life-saving story behind Baylor's Final Four run, how a kidney donor on the Bears staff helped a friend in need. Remember our interview with Kevin Barrera and David Kay from back a long time ago, back when we were doing our show from Paul's house. They got that story got some national play today. Thrilled that story is now out there. Although we did that many, many months ago, it's pretty cool that David Kay and Kevin Barrera got some attention today.
Okay, I think I've got it keyed up just about to that spot.
All right, back to the Gary Bohannon interview, then we'll come back and wrap things up on SicEm365 Radio.
Or not. We got dead air here.
All right. It's not working.
Okay. All right. That's too bad. Here is, let's go to your top 5 at 5:55. Paul?
This is Paul Catalina's Top 5 at 5:55.
All right. Sorry about that, fellas. I'm not sure what happened in the middle of that thing. It just froze up. We made it all the way through. All right. But this on a suggestion from frequent Twitter participant Andrew Baker, our former producer, has been wanting to participate in this all week. So he suggested today for Fun Friday, top 5 Bruces. So top 5 Bruces. All right. Number 5. Just based on Die Hard alone, Bruce Willis.
Okay.
He's got a lot of bad movies. Like Bruce Willis has way more bad movies than he has good movies. But his good movies are really good, so it makes you forget about the absolute crap that he does. Number 4, one of the greatest defensive ends that have ever lived, Bruce Smith.
Certainly.
Yeah. All right. Number 3, Smokey, I know as a fellow Spurs fan, you'll like this one. Bruce Bowen.
Yeah, top 5 Bruce?
Oh, top 5 Bruce. Listen.
No,
key
he's
member
behind
of
Bruce
Champion.
Willis, man. He's behind Bruce Willis. He's behind Bruce Smith, in my opinion. But it's your list, and hey, it's subjective, so right on.
No rings without Bruce Bowen in San Antonio, or very few of them.
Right.
Number 2, Bruce Banner. Not a real Bruce, a fake Bruce.
That
but he's the
Batman?
Hulk. That's the Hulk.
Oh, the Hulk. Okay.
All right. And number
Batman is
1,
Bruce Wayne.
Number
Bruce
1,
Wayne.
and this one, Craig, I knew I couldn't get by with putting any other Bruce number 1 than Bruce Wayne, which is Bruce Wayne is the superhero. Like, to me, Bruce Wayne or Tony Stark are the superheroes you want to be because you don't have to worry about anything else. I mean, you can just go superhero, run your company, sit in your big house. I think that's the way to live. Bruce Wayne, number 1 Bruce. Almost put Bruce Lee on the list. I don't know if he did enough in his short.
Certainly.
Yeah. So probably should be over Bruce Bowen.
Yeah, I think Bruce Lee's.
Yeah, go ahead, Craig.
Yeah, I think Bruce Lee should probably be on the list. Bruce Wayne's got to be number 1, though. In my opinion, I'm a big Batman fan, so I'm right there with you on that. And yeah, Batman versus Iron Man would be quite the entertaining battle. Neither one has superpowers, so that would be a pretty cool little fight to see with all their technology and smarts. But yeah, there are more Bruces than I realized, and actually more you could even add on. So it's I didn't realize how many stars have that name.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of a few others, but the Bruce Bowen has got me still a little bit flustered as much as I'm a Spurs fan, but he could
Does
play.
Does Bruce Jenner count anymore? Can you even go that direction?
No, Bruce Jenner's no longer alive.
That's not a thing. Yeah, that's Caitlin, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
Hey, thanks to American Bank, our latest sponsor, to join our coverage, NCAA tournament, Indianapolis, and throughout the coverage of what we've had throughout today, and also what could be and what we hope to be through Monday as well with the SicEm365 Radio. Thanks to a lot of people, including the guests that we had on the show today, Clark Kellogg, Grayson Grudhafer, Jim Howler, Sean Bell, John Machota, Homer Drew, John Gallagher, Gary Bohannon, at least part of him, and then also Jared Butler, Scott Drew,
and Kelvin Sampson. Craig, thank you. Have a great weekend. Appreciate you. Drive safe. Paul, have a great weekend.
Yeah, I was going to say, if you want to hear that Gary Bohannon interview and all the other stuff, it's up on the website, SicEm365.com. There was good stuff and my 30-something takeaways from practice. There's no practice this weekend, or at least that we're allowed to cover. So that's going to kind of do it until next week. And they only have, 7 or so practices left. So they're halfway through at this point. So check that out if you get the opportunity, or maybe it encourages you to sign up for SicEm365.com.
Absolutely. There's a lot of stuff from Jason King and Ashley Hodge on the basketball, the game, the matchup, Baylor. A lot of the interviews we've had from today and throughout the week, there's a thread with that. Plus, of course, Grayson. Also, much more to come. Colt's got a couple of things up, including there's a story from View of the Brazos from Grayson. The defense continues to build.
Practice.
Okay, Views
That's
of the,
what Views
okay.
of the Brazos is.
Okay. Yeah. All right. For Craig Smoak and Paul Catalina, Armstrong should be back on Monday, and I hope to be back from Indianapolis on Monday. Otherwise, we will see you Monday no matter what at 3 o'clock. Baylor tomorrow and Houston at 4:15 Central, 4:14 Central. For everyone, please be safe this weekend. I'm David Smoak, and good night.